Okay, we have Druid. We have butt.
Well,
Druid butt.
well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
He looks fairly lost,
I
to be
asked
fair.
you a question.
That's a cool bear.
What's wrong with him?
Ah, he's lost his bloody mind.
Yeah. The bear still looks good. It's been years since they showed it off the first time. It looks great. Oh, I love the werewolf. Oh, I love the werewolf. Oh, okay. Okay. Holy. Okay. Okay, that's a dragon. What? That was a dragon. Okay.
I will find you, Eve.
Who?
Now, as you can see,
Hi,
the Druid
Jonathan.
is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his
What
fellow
the
Druids
hell?
were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the Druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast. Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity.
Oh.
The Druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design.
Yeah.
As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them. The Druid is our first hybrid
Look
strength
at
and
him.
intelligence class.
Yeah.
That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world. One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth. This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range.
Dude.
Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out.
It looks so good.
But how do you turn into an animal, you may
Oh.
ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that Druids use, animal talismans.
Talismans were real. Okay.
When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip.
Oh.
For a bear, that's Maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack.
Dude, look at
If
that.
you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The
Okay.
volcano we used
Hybrid
earlier
play.
will emit
Cool.
more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's Furious Slam. While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with Maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your Furious Slam.
Nice. Okay. Like that.
Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes. The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better. As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like
Endurance,
Ferocious
okay.
Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to
Oh.
use these skills as a bear.
Nice.
Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode. or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
That's cool. Leaving it like an aftershock.
You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Kaun. Ever wonder what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer.
Damn.
Finally,
That's
build
pretty
enough
cool.
rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of
No. Don't.
fire around you for some time,
Thank you.
while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Now, the bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid.
Here we go.
Wolf form.
This is it.
For the wolf form, we wanted to go fast and furious.
Yeah.
Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes.
Good, love that.
After attacking, the wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours,
Yeah.
allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies.
Cool.
The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon.
Cold.
And the first of
Okay.
these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen,
Somehow
use
I
your
always
basic
end up
break
back at
attack
cold
to knock
damage.
shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your Pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them to fight with you. Mark and kill as
wolfman?
many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have, so make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies.
Not bad.
If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off. Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into.
Nice.
So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, Cross Slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time. The wolf has many other ways to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies
Sup,
that are close
man?
to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage.
Okay.
Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
It's very cool. Yeah, look at that.
Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the druid.
Hell yeah.
I think it's a cool one. The Wyvern.
Show me the
The
wyvern.
has a number
Okay,
of
yeah.
long-range breath
Thought it was just
abilities.
dragon. Yeah, it's a
But
wyvern.
that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to.
Perfect.
The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned,
Is this
you
like
can
an
blow them
ult?
off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage. After the battle, though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges, and this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online.
We have all elements.
Using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack. Once your wings are charged, your Wing Blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage.
They gave us
If
a
your
damn
enemies are close to
dragon,
death,
dude.
No need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all.
Ah.
Alright, so those are some melee options. But how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling Magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These
Isn't that a
balls
spell
will
in
trigger
PoE 1?
volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting. But that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours.
Oh.
Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite. If you have power charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful?
Wet.
Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock.
Of course.
Use it with lightning damage from your wyvern form to enhance your damage.
Dude, I can't believe they're giving us
Making
a dragon.
things wet
It's
also
dope.
makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well. And you know what else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities.
Nice.
Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage.
This is so
Now
cool.
then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to
Dude.
really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now,
Remember, kids,
this
water
last
your
wyvern ability
plants.
is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of
No.
fire on your enemies. You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
Beautiful. Are you invulnerable in that state? What does that do? How does that work?
There are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems.
Spell
Spell
totems.
Totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges.
Okay.
You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over
Bro, why is
30
it out
new
of
supports
sync?
throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the
Why
other
is it out
enemies
of
behind
sync?
them. It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast. But you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles. Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain. And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse, or to turn tornadoes into a real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along. And the Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost.
I'm gonna do this. Just hope.
Living Tesla Coils. Use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost.
Hopefully fix the sync. Why is it lagging? Dude!
But it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear.
Oh, shh.
There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to discover.
Look at that.
Now with a new class comes new Ascendancy classes.
Yes.
The Druid will have 2 options for now.
Not
which will be
Shaman.
Released later.
Not Shaman.
First class is the Shaman.
No!
The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness
It makes
rage
sense,
as a
I just-
spellcaster, unifying its animalistic and magical
I
tendencies.
kind of wanted that to be a hopefully
By
separate thing in the
allocating Druidic
future.
champion,
One day.
You gain
Whatever.
spell damage the angrier you are. And with
Okay.
Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells. With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the shaman.
Ooh.
These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build. You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury. There are other abilities for the shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage.
Okay.
When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage. And with Converging Paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both.
Oh, cool. Oh.
And one of my favorites, when you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you.
What?
For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing their spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit.
What?
Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get.
What?
So we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now there are unique talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this
Show
one
me
is
some.
particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your
Here we
bear
go.
form into a fire demon, converting most of your damage to fire. As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves fissures around you.
Now that's a cool
This
bear.
unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We
What's
still
up,
have
man?
a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the Fate of the Vaal.
The palace of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
Here we go. The werewolf looks so good.
The temple has many functions, and with it,
There it
a
is.
chance to save the Vaal. A gateway through
Incursions.
travel into the past again and again. Alter the temple, uncover its secrets. You'll be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits. I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do. It adores me.
Okay.
Come now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
She's not well.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts.
What's up,
Game
Mark?
Director on Path of Exile. In the Fate
This
of
is
the Vaal
non-stop,
League,
dude.
you will find remnants of the ancient Vaal civilization scattered throughout Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby
Why
creatures
does it-
and affect them strangely.
Why does it lag?
After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices, and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Vaal may emerge,
Okay.
and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple.
We stopped the
once
lag.
the home of Atziri, Queen of the Vaal. What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense.
I have a board game like
And
this.
that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice.
Oh, there it
This
is.
energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple.
I was wondering why she didn't have Fortidis in the,
Each time
in
you
the
run
actual
temple,
trailer.
you will be
But there it
given
is. It's on
6
the
rooms that
statue.
you can place,
So that was
allowing
before
you to
she got
craft your own
the
dungeon
second
to
set.
explore. Place paths to link up the dungeon, and place rooms beside them full of precious loot.
Yeah.
After you are happy with your choices, open the temple and discover the results of your efforts. Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose wisely. It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command.
Why?
With better leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding.
Okay. Makes
Different
sense.
rooms have different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power.
And there. It's close again.
After doing so,
What?
the golems will be powered up, making them much more dangerous. You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up,
Okay,
and
good.
exactly what effect it will have on the temple. After running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back, making the temple larger and larger and larger. So, that's the basic functionality of the temple, but there is a lot more.
I don't recognize that helmet.
Once Doriani finds out about your travels to Lera Vaal, he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission. The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point, right before Atziri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Vaal. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Atziri to prevent the Vaal from ever being destroyed.
Yeah, good luck with that. She's well known for being very understanding.
Atziri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms, but while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Vaal technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you. And
This
they
looks
have
like a lot of
pretty
fun.
insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item.
Don't corrupt that one! What are you doing?
But placing it next to a Thormod
Oh,
turd to
risking
run
a
the place,
corrupt in one of
and a
the
sacrificial chamber to
most
provide
expensive
soul
items in the
energy,
game
you'll be able
almost
to
killed
level it
me,
up.
dude.
And it's worth it. Because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well, Normally, once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further.
However,
But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding another enchantment.
really,
This has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed. But be warned, the Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power.
yeah.
There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
He ate your bow.
Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
Okay.
For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Vaal construct to fight, but if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalitzi's Thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Sita Qualottl's Thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an offering expires. Get a sacrificial chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Vaal unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways. One of the mods of this unique will be removed
Oh, there.
and
That's the
replaced
helmets.
with another
Okay.
random mod. For example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you replace the downside.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Now, one extra thing to mention about these Vaal crafting machines. You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead,
Sick.
allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
Yes.
Now, there are all sorts of interesting
Love
rooms
that.
you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon.
Okay.
A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab. But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself?
What?
After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace.
Aw.
Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb.
Whoa.
It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one. Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts.
Yeah, how does this work?
If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state.
Okay.
You might need to return to the Vaal Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time. Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward. Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways.
Okay.
Using a Queepalartl's medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up. And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop
what
rooms
now?
from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time.
Cool.
Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts. Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect, and you will be in for a fight. Once
The
defeated,
damn freezing and stuff
you will
is
find another
killing me, dude.
console that can be used to modify the temple.
Like, is it my internet? Doesn't seem like it. Went down to 720
Wards.
and it just froze.
There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes,
Okay.
and currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this
Ooh.
one, that can extract the soccer balls back out of an item
Yeah,
at
sick.
the cost of destroying it. Now, something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the in-game.
Yes, you do.
In order to make sure that the Fate of the Val works well for late game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match. Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters.
Nice.
We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure and not interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Val, you will get to face Exile while she was at the peak of her power.
Okay.
One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Val herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Exile communes with the beast's power
There it
and
is.
takes her true corrupted form.
Yep. It's 4 of
Now,
them.
We are not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards.
Okay.
This is Exire's rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other. So, that's the Fate of the Val League. But we are
that's
also
it?
bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game,
Thank you.
along with a few
Great
changes.
choice.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore. Rise of the Abyssal is now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in endgame. If
Makes
you want
sense.
to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run.
Yeah.
You can also craft the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function. Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree.
Hey, there it is.
You can gain your first points by completing an Abyss. But there are more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses.
Okay.
And there are a bunch of different options. You might just want more monsters and bosses. But you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal. Or make your Waystone modifiers also apply to Abyssal depths. You could specialize in the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific Abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that. In fact, we have removed instilling from Waystones as well.
Oh.
This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content.
Yeah.
But it was both annoying to do.
Did they remove
and
fog?
resulted in a lot
Are
of
we
visual
leaving
clutter.
Silent Hill?
Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be
Once
able
we
to
defeat
upgrade
him.
tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency.
Who do you think I am?
Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling.
Yeah.
So we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to Waystones outside of the basic currency, because it
Okay.
adds too much micromanagement.
There you go.
But on that note, Fate of the Val does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of
Okay.
many different random outcomes.
Is
Now,
there still fog,
with
though?
regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying.
Thank you.
Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly,
Thank you.
so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey.
We're not leaving
Another
Silent
big
Hill.
source
We're
of problems
just
in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed
seeing
with
Silent
monsters.
Hill.
In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early in-game in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15. Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount.
Okay.
So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life.
Sick.
In addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level. This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses.
That's fine.
We have also reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes.
Thank you.
Which also helps a lot with this. Now, we did have a large amount of content for endgame planned for 040, but unfortunately we just didn't get time to finish it. The scope was a bit too large, and so we'll need to wait until 050 for that. But rest assured, there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon.
Good.
Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in
Yeah.
the game is game performance.
Yes.
And we have done a lot of work here. The primary issue is CPU load. And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized.
So much
We have
happening
done a
here.
lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU cores.
Good.
You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher, and a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay.
Good.
It does make quite a big difference, especially on consoles. A lot more work
Awesome.
in this area is ongoing, and you will continue to see performance improvements over the next few months. Of course, another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes. Now, most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers. As well as adding 11 new unique items, we have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often.
Good.
We've also done a pass over lineage supports. 21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as adding 9 more. Alongside the 2 new Druid ascendancies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others,
Cool.
with some of them getting a grander rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava. Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active skills across
90?
all the different classes.
Jesus.
And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree.
Why do they do this?
These changes should go a long way to increase the viability of many
keep
more
doing
skills,
this.
uniques, and overall build variety that can tackle our most challenging content. Next up, we're going to be
Okay,
talking about
yes.
our new supporter packs.
Yes. Give me some Druid stuff.
Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
Okay.
The Precursor and Kalgurin packs.
Okay.
Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
That's a Calgurin for
As
sure.
always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
Yep.
The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
That's a Druid statue.
First up, the Marble Statue character effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to marble.
Awesome.
When you next move, the stone crumbles around you.
That's funny.
The Precursors had mastery over gravity manipulation.
Whoa.
So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness
ball's
the power
hardened.
of its pull as you approach it. Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the Awakened Precursor armor set. The Precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings.
What the hell does that helmet remind
This
me
one
of?
used to serve as a scout that would patrol and tase intruders.
Show me that armor again. What the
Why
hell?
salvage gear yourself when the Master of the Forge can do it for you? Molten gold spills out as the Forge Master breaks down your items.
Sick.
The Relic of the Precursor's map device is a mysterious machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device. The Kalgurin pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
That's the Diablo
Calgurans
2
had
sound.
astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the astronomer's level up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat.
I'm gonna have to get that just to get the Diablo
Time
2
taken
sound.
to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of.
Oh, cool.
Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Calguran fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself. A Calguran seafarer
That's
needs
cool.
armor fit for the treacherous seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a peg leg. The Lost Treasure weapon skins
Whoa.
top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied to wands, two-hand maces,
Where are you holding that,
and
man?
shields.
That's cool.
After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout, a home of some of the most deadly ocean-dwelling creatures in Rayclast.
Damn.
Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant kraken waiting for its prey. As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout. Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs.
Nice.
Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
Of course.
Thank you very much for all your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, at 11 AM NZ time, we'll post the patch notes. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the news. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to playing alongside our fellow shapeshifting exiles.
Yeah.
All while uncovering Lost Vale secrets by doing some dungeon crafting. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
No. So, can we just talk about how insane they are for always being like, so here's an overwhelming amount of information and a whole new league mechanic for free. Like, the amount of... Oh, what's up,
Welcome back,
Ziggity?
Exiles, to the Q&A
I'm gonna
portion.
mute you guys for a bit. We're gonna be going back and looking at all the like the reveal of the druid again, and maybe listen to the Q&A later. But like, it's actually insane the amount of work they put in to all this stuff. The just one, is it every 4 months now? 3 or 4 months they put out a new season, or a league as it's called, and the amount of stuff they put in like takes other games in this genre like 2 years to put into an expansion. Like, how are they so time efficient with their games? They're doing this with PoE 1 and 2 at the same time. It's wild. It's so impressive. It's wildly impressive. Just I don't know how they do it. It's so cool. It just
Yes.
You know, the like, you know, we were seeing some people say, oh, you know, the wolf looks weak or whatever. Well, I can assure you that on Alpha there's a bunch of people saying the wolf is super OP. So, you know, it just comes down to the things you go through in order to demonstrate stuff.
I think we probably going to be worthwhile. We make some videos showing a bit more of the less demonstratey side and get them posted and stuff this week.
Okay.
You can just play it literally right now. And
people feel underwhelmed by the
I've
wolf.
definitely been playing and recording a bit myself, because I was like, when I first watched it as well, the draft, I was thinking, it's like, I don't really get a feel for what it feels like to actually play it. Like, there's good demonstration here of the mechanics, but yeah, I can understand how from your perspective it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, we want to communicate how this cool thing works and this cool thing works.
There's a fine line there for sure. Where if you get too hectic, people are like, I don't even know what's going on. They're just looking at a ruckus.
Yeah.
And then, in this case, I'd say we went on a little too far on the other side of the line, was just a bit too slow. And as a result, yes, it can look a bit weak. But
yeah, I think we'll try and get some like raw druid gameplay out to people to understand it. I think particularly for this class, because of the shape-shifting stuff, it's so hard
there's
for
a
us
lot
to,
of stuff.
Normally we can look at something and be like, oh, that's just a demonstration. We kind of know what it would look like at endgame. But I think with the Druid, it's just so unusual. It's so different that it's actually hard to judge what it would feel like to even play it. And I'm happy for my hands-on to say that like it's almost immediately like very smooth, the shape shifting of it, the movement of it, especially because like in your demonstrations, you're not really using dodge, roll, sprint, that sort of thing as well, which makes a big difference.
I suppose one of the things we didn't really dwell on in the video as well is that we do actually have dodge roll. I mean, they're not actually rolls for the animals, but all the animals can like hop around and that kind of stuff. And that was honestly one of those things that was like kind of funny because initially we actually had it so when you dodge rolled, you would transform back into a human. And the reason we did that is because it's really hard to make animations for animals that like actually work correctly.
We saw the bear rolling in town years ago.
But then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the kind of visceral reaction of I want to still be a bear.
Yeah.
Like, while I'm hopping around. So we ended up having to like work out like how can we make this possible? How can we make it so that you can actually do the dodge rolling as an animal? And that sort of ended up being pretty good, I would say.
And this was like clearly the hardest class to design so far, and it took a bit longer. Like I think you were originally hoping to bring it out in a previous expansion.
Yeah, quite a while ago. But the thing is with it is that it's kind of like designing 4 classes in one, because not only do you have the situation where
caster, bear, wolf, dragon,
we want to have
wyvern
between skills and stuff like that, and we can like look at that in a normal class and work out what those might be. But with this class, people want to be able to play just as a bear or just as a wolf, as well as people who want to play like dual with a human and a wolf, or people who just want to be a wolf and a bear and like all the different combinations. So we had to kind of come up with a way for like each line needs to be self-sufficient and that it's got all the tools that you need, but at the same time you have to not have it so it feels like there's just duplication between them. We're like, oh, like this is just the same thing as what a bear has, but you are a wolf instead. So we kind of have to like, it's like you need all the tools and yet you also need to have them feel different. And that just made it really, really tricky to get all of the things right with it. And then it didn't also help that, since the last time we were working on the Druid, way back when we showed it off in Gamescom 2023, we had WSD. And that adds a whole other complication because, like how can we make that work with the animal forms? It's like a whole thing. Like I'll tell you the wyvern, for example, like we had a hell of a time making it so that you could do the ranged attacks because you need to be able to walk while you're doing it. The wyvern's sitting there with its arms like planted on the ground, like being able to walk while also spinning it. Yeah, it's like we went through so many iterations of that. So yeah, it was just a very tricky class overall, like just crazy.
I remember seeing some very goofy looking like wyvern like months and months ago.
Yeah,
we were like trying to, this is not working.
Right.
Like,
well, I also remember like for a long time the wolf was just like a dancing dog. It was just like it looked really silly. And like man, the wolf as well. I mean, it was really hard to get right, and because one of the things we really wanted to avoid was I didn't want that too much of that whole like man in a wolf suit vibe. Like I wanted to actually get the feeling of like this is actually a different animal, which I think with the bear and the wyvern's way easier. With the wolf, it's like it's really hard not to just go back into that. So we had a lot of questions about like what even the locomotion was. How does it walk? Are we going to walk on 2 legs? Are we going to walk on 4?
Both.
We ended up splitting the difference. You can do both, right? Like when you're attacking and you can be upright walking on 2 legs. When you're walking, you run on 4, and you actually do get a speed boost while you're on 4 legs. Like as a wolf, just so after like 1 second of walking, you go down on 4 legs. You start moving a bit faster.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
actually
pretty cool.
An interesting thing there. I don't think is each form technically has a kind of passive benefit.
Right.
So obviously you've got the running fast as a wolf. Can't remember exactly what the wyvern ones were, but like for the bear, for example, because you're just a bit bigger, bit of a tank. You actually do get armor, and armor applies to elemental damage as a thing.
Oh.
And, like, there's a kind of, which is like honestly, unless you actually click the bear keyword, is like undescribed everywhere.
Well, it was even more than that because I was just looking at it in game before. The bear has like passive endurance charge generation.
Yes, it does.
Rage
Rage expenditure, it does.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we really wanted to make sure that each of the different forms had things that can benefit the other forms. So like it was really tricky to think like, what are resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources the wolf can generate? What are the ones the wyvern can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get that cross synergy? So that's kind of like one of the reasons why we had to kind of come up with all that stuff. And that, part of the trickiness.
And that caught me by surprise as well, because like technically it's
I'm stuck in the Q&A portion.
I understood the idea that you can swap between the forms, like human to animal and back. Yeah, I figured that's what's going on here. But you can like leap in as a wolf and then immediately transform to a bear mid slam.
You absolutely can. So the thing with this is that
Okay.
you want to present a fantasy to someone as far as like what the UI is pushing you towards and all that sort of stuff. Like there are going to be a lot of people who are like, I want to be a bear, and they just pick bear stuff and they go all bear, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're unconstrained in the sense that you can pick all the other stuff, you can use it at the same time. So one talisman, like effectively when you pick on a talisman from like wolf, bear, or wyvern, what that's giving you is the default attack, right? That's
Yeah,
what you're
just
actually
that.
picking, and that's all it is, right? And that often will guide you, like what skills you're picking and so on, but you can just use with that same talisman as many different animal skills as you would like. That just means that you've got that sort of free-flowing, like, you know, trying out different stuff, sort of combo gameplay that we you know, like to try and get. So, you know, obviously there will just be a lot of people who just pick one thing, right? Like I absolutely expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of experimentation to do there if you want to do it.
Yeah, so you've tried to hit like making it so like people who just want like a simple, straightforward, like I just want to run out as bear and slam the ground, like that's certainly very possible.
It's
So
actually,
this whole class, you
I'm
can
so excited for this. I can't even describe it properly because, like,
shapeshifter as well.
man,
I mean, this class has got a bit of
I should, you know, this whole thing, the stream kind of started in reverse. I kind of just, you know, kind of had to dive into the stream because I noticed it was not streaming on YouTube. So I had to watch live. I now realize I could have clicked recent broadcast and watched it later, but I didn't think about that. So I'm just gonna, you know, record a quick intro because I didn't even really get to intro this whole thing. So let me just do that real quick. Hi, I'm Chrane. We're about to watch, well, spoiler, live just now. We have already seen it, but there was no time for an intro. So we're about to watch the Druid reveal here for Path of Exile 2. Enjoy. Gonna be interesting to see when they add it next week, right? Yeah, dude, there is so much in here that I'm like, give me this now. Now. It's wow. I'm so impressed with this so far. And I kind of just need it now. So why don't we just watch the beginning again? Because goddamn, it was so neat. It was so neat. I am having problems with my internet though, apparently, because it keeps lagging severely for some reason. But yeah, let's go back and watch the beginning. And this time, let's have the chat on the side because I'm very curious.
I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream.
I did get
so you'll
this.
be able to claim your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below. Now today, it's finally time to show off a new class that we know everyone in the community's been waiting for. So let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile 2,
Barbarian.
The Last of the Druids.
Oh. I'm a bit disappointed we ain't got a druid ascendancy, but I'll make it work. Yeah, oh Jesus, I almost spilled soda on my on my keyboard. That was close. I am surprised with the ascendancies, to be fair. I did hear that we probably were getting shaman, and I'm like, I've always seen those two as two very separate things, druid and shaman, but now it's like druid is the base class. Shaman is the advanced class or ascendancy. And then the other one was Oracle. But it seems like neither of those are really shapeshift focused based on what we saw there. So everything is going to have 3 ascendancies or advanced classes like when the game is done. So I don't know. We don't know what the third one's going to be. It could be something shapeshifting related, but so far we have no clue. And I'm very curious how both of those trees are going to look at the end because they sound interesting. Probably use the other version, Oracle, simply because of the extra passive talents. Dude, it looks very interesting. Wake up. Druid butt.
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
Bonk. I'm so glad the bear looks the same.
What's wrong with him?
Ah, he's lost his bloody mind.
Come on and slam. All the nature stuff looks nice. They gave us a wyvern form, dude. It's wild. The chat right now. Dragon? Dragon? Man, it's so cool. Log in, dude.
I will find you, Aoife.
I love his voice.
Now, as you can see, the Druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster.
He sure is. Pretty sure they're streaming in 4K, so it's like, yeah, it's I can't even pick the higher qualities. Yeah, 2K is visible at least. Your browser settings, software, or device do not support some stream qualities. Okay, screw me, I guess. I don't know if it's Firefox that doesn't support it or what it is, but insane. How could you say this to me? So mean. I paid good money for this computer. I'll have you know. I still cannot believe they're giving us a damn wyvern. Dude, they're giving us a wyvern form. Like, enjoy the werewolf, the werebear, and also, is that Smog? It's like, what's going on? It's so cool. It looks really slow moving, but I mean, there's ways around that. There's movement speed on boots, you know? We can fix that, surely. I don't even know what to say. It's just so goddamn cool.
After his fellow druids were destroyed,
And I
by the
love
King
the
of
look
Mists,
of the werewolf.
The druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast. Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity. The druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them. The druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world. One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth. This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time.
That move is in Diablo 2.
Is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask?
Dude, the ground slams making it so that the volcano spits out more fireballs.
Your enemies, and will continue to do
Look at
so
this
for
when he
some time.
slams.
While the volcano is active,
More
turn into
balls.
an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask?
Yeah, new weapon type.
Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids use, animal talismans.
I thought for sure they were going to get
When
claws.
you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear, that's Maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear
I'm going to just assume that werewolf has shred or something like that.
and attack. If you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's Furious Slam. While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with Maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your Furious Slam.
They said the talisman only affects your basic attacks, or bear talisman gives bear basic attacks. Yeah, and when you click the button they showed on the UI there, you swap over to a different
animal form you would like the talisman to represent.
Yeah, this thing.
Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids use: animal talismans. When
now
you
he's
equip
bear.
An animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent.
Yeah, and that changes the skill down here.
The answer is a new weapon type that druids
Your
use:
your basic
talismans.
attack. So Maul.
When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the
And
talisman
then whatever
to
that
represent.
is, and that's what I meant with like. Since he said the bear form gets Maul as the basic attack, that's what I meant with like. So I'm assuming that werewolf gets like shred or swipe or something like that. That's what I meant. Just the name of the basic attack.
Whenever you see glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your Furious Slam. Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes.
Yeah.
The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better.
Do it. Slam, 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 slam. So cool.
As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies a meta gem.
There's the Wyvern icon. Cool. So, I guess Wyvern is something you unlock later, because the previous talisman we saw did not have that icon on it. So, probably comes along later, or only with specific talismans? I don't know. Strange. Maybe you need to reach a specific level to reach your first Wyvern skill or something in the tree, and then it pops up on your, like, all your talismans. Because I don't think the previous one said anything about, like, which ones you could get, right?
Druid
Oh.
The draws of the animal's base animal talisman chance to turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids...
I was tricked by my own cursor. I was like, why is he moused over it? But it doesn't say anything. It was my own cursor tricking me. This doesn't say anything about allowed forms. This is just like a level 2 character, I'm assuming. Because he's in town. Maybe level 3 because of the staff. I'm unsure. But, like, I'm going to assume that the third button...
Animal talismans.
Because it's missing here, right? I'm going to assume...
But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids use. Animal talisman.
Did it say anything when he moused over? Oh, just the werewolf form. Okay. So I'm going to assume that the third button unlocks either when you reach the level requirement for the first Wyvern skill, or it's linked to specific talismans. It's going to be one of those. So, we'll see.
When you equip an animal talisman, Furious Slam. You have, the longer the Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
Yeah. By the way, I love that people are like, he's slow, log out, instead of like the being hyped, log in. They're like, no. Yeah, exactly. It needs to be like somewhat early. I'm going to assume it's going to be like Ice Strike for Monk around level 12 with that tier, probably. Just a wild speculation on my part, but that seems to be when Monk comes online completely, so I'm just going to assume that's what also happens with the Wyvern form.
Or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do. You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Cow.
That's sick.
Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer. Finally, build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, the bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble?
My boy.
Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid, wolf form. For the wolf form, we want it to go fast and furious.
He's so
Even
cool.
just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes.
Ah!
After attacking, the wolf stands up on two legs, but after running
Rake. That's the name of it. I'm assuming.
for a short
Again, I'm
what if
assuming.
you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid, wolf form.
He said rake, so I'm going to assume that's it.
For the wolf form, we want it to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes. After attacking, the wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he
He's
goes
back on
all
four.
fours,
Yeah!
allowing him to move more quickly between
Sick.
attacks of enemies. The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them
Wolfman.
to fight with you. Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more.
Bro, I cannot look at the chat, dude. Oh, God. 0 DPS! Like, please. It's a preview. What? Is it satisfying watching this if everything just disappears off the screen? Like, you don't get to see the animations. You don't get to see how stuff interacts with each other. Like, he's not level 95. Okay, let's calm.
Wolves you have, so make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash.
Oh, yeah. Bam.
Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies.
Yeah.
If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off. Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes.
I love the werewolf design, dude. I love it. I said this many times, but I was so worried we were going to have the werewolf that looked like a huge quill rat that's currently in the game. So I'm so happy that this is what they decided to do. I'm so happy. He looks great. And the fact that he swaps between walking on like 2 legs and then going down to 4 to move faster. Sick choice. Great balance in between there. I'm also glad that Jonathan later called out to be like, we don't want to make him look like a wolf busting out of a man, you know? Like the old school, like, universal werewolf look, which, I mean, has a place for sure. And it's a very iconic style. It's just not my preferred style of werewolf. I love the Diablo 2 werewolf. Shocking, I know. I love the Harry Potter werewolf. I think that's like one of my favorites in general because it looks so gross. It's like a perfect mix between a wolf and a Wendigo. That's kind of what I'm looking for when it comes to a werewolf. I want the limbs to be long and lanky and disgusting, okay? Now, this is closer to a wolf than what I'm describing, but I think it's still it doesn't dog soldiers, please. Yes, please. Like this doesn't look like a guy. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Like this doesn't look like a dude who's a wolf. This looks like a wolf monster. And that's, you know, oh, the movie, I thought you meant in general that I could get tiny dog soldiers. Let me look up what that looked like. Dog soldiers. Because I'm unfamiliar. That is a pretty decent werewolf, yeah. I kind of like that. It's still very much a dude in a costume, but I think that's almost more admirable. That looks kind of cool, honestly. I prefer it to the Letterman. It is a Letterman jacket, right? With the fur coming out, like around the around the wrists, and the giant wolf head on top of just a dude. For me, the epitome of the werewolf is the 5 forms. One from the White Wolf, the tabletop RPG games. Oh, let me look at that. White Wolf. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this has some of those like kind of like it looks like a wolf, but it's like, why are those arms so goddamn long? that's kind of what I'm looking for. The middle one, the Krenos, is the battle form. That looks dope. The giant wolf is quite nice too. Yeah. No, I kind of like this too. That looks kind of awesome. So what you're saying is Warhammer 40k werewolves? Okay, now we're talking. Okay. I didn't know there were werewolves in Warhammer. Let me see this. Oh. I mean, though, huh. Werewolf cavalry. I mean, I kind of like those. They look kind of cool, but that's because like most things in Warhammer is just shoved into a giant space marine suit. I kind of dig that. That looks kind of neat. Because like before that, I've seen the army that has like wolf stuff like pelts on them. Never seen like actual werewolves in Warhammer, but that looks kind of cool. I don't hate that. Don't hate that at all. And honestly, I think they've hit a kind of a perfect balance with the look of this one, because the one in Diablo 4, if we're gonna be poo-pooing a bit on Diablo some more, as if I don't do that enough, the werewolf in Diablo 4 looks like he has a giant growth in between his shoulders, right? and he doesn't look well. He looks swollen, not in like a buff kind of way, but in like a is he okay kind of way. And this is a general issue I have with Diablo 4 overall, not just with the werewolf, but every character is too big on the screen. And for some reason, they decided to make the forms for the druid huge. And I don't enjoy playing things that take up too much screen real estate. I don't enjoy that. I need my FOV. I need to see what's going on the screen, you know? Looks more like World of Warcraft. It kind of does. And I don't hate World of Warcraft. I enjoyed my time with WoW for a long time until I didn't. But, you know, it just doesn't feel Diablo to me. Bear form was okay, but walked like a penguin. Correct. I don't just agree. That is correct. The bear form is okay, but he walks like he's shit his pants. You know, it's very unfortunate. And then there's also that hilarious bug where sometimes when you turn into bear form, you still have the animation of you holding a staff, and the head is like shrunk down in between the shoulders, and he runs around like this as a bear. Hilarious. Happens way too often. I don't know why it still does. But we're finally looking at a well-designed, cool-looking werewolf. I'm just so relieved that this is what it looks like. The werewolf in Diablo 2 looked like it had mange. I mean, yes. I mean, that's cool. He's not like he looks like a rabid animal. I just don't I just don't want him to look like he needs to seek out, you know, a doctor because he might not be able to move his arms in a day, you know? It's like, damn, that growth on between his shoulders. How is he able to swipe at all? You know? But like if he's like a rabid animal, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He's going to be out there fighting things. That doesn't hinder him. If anything, it makes him stronger. Oh, he has poison moves? That makes sense, you know? That's kind of like the way I rationalize all these things. And of course there's not necessarily any like connecting logic in between all these steps, right? It's a very subjective stance to take. I'm well aware of that. And I mean, we all have that. Like, I'm describing my preferred style of werewolf in a game or a show or a movie. It's going to be vastly different from the first person I meet going outside, you know? It's going to be very different, and that's fine. For me, I'm just very happy with what I'm looking at here. This thing, ooh, so good. Hitting everything that I wanted to. So I'm very happy with
Bounce
this.
is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into. So for example, you might want to...
Is this new music, by the way? I don't recognize this song. It's very Diablo 2, though.
Try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, cross-slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time.
I also love that they have
Many
different
other ways
elements.
to go all in on cold, though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
There we go. Damage. Damage. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the third form available to the druid.
Before we go into the wyvern here. Yeah, exactly, Dax. What they're doing is that they're splitting, like, there are 3 main elements in PoE. Cold, fire, and lightning. You also have void? Is it void damage? Why am I forgetting this? I think it's void. It's been like 2 months since I played, but those are like the 4 elements. Void is kind of like poison, but you know, it's more stylized. But like the main 3 you're usually dealing with are cold, fire, and lightning. And they're usually associated with a different stats. Fire so far has usually been associated with strength. Lightning has so far been tied to intelligence, and cold dexterity. So far. Now that could change, of course. It probably will, but like that's so far that's kind of where it's been. And it kind of matches with what we're looking at. It's like bear, raw strength, werewolf, more dexterous, going cold. The bear goes fire, and then the wyvern goes lightning, and it seems like a more magical beast, you know? So it kind of makes sense. I kind of see the connection, like I think I'm seeing what they're trying to do. So I just hope that it works, because Druid is going to be strength intelligence as a hybrid. So I'm very curious how the werewolf is going to work with, you know, if the cold stuff is going to be dex reliant or not. So that's going to be interesting, because that's on the entire opposite side of the tree. So hopefully it's going to work well without that. Sigmar werewolf, Google skin wolves. Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. They are on my screen. They are something. That's for damn sure. I'm gonna just because I'm now realizing these are called Space Wolves Wolfen, so maybe they're not the exact same thing. Skin wolves. Okay, so yeah, I did see this too. This was on one of the other pictures. They look dope. Really like that. Cool as hell. Though, again, you have the kind of... Some of them have the kind of growth in between the shoulders that I don't love. But they do look good. They do look good. The ones from Total War Warhammer, that looks nice. That looks badass. Kind of like the skin wolves. Lehman Russ rules the werewolves? Let me see. Oh, it's this guy. It's Arthas with a wolf motif. Horus Heresy. Yeah. Cool. Let's look at the wyvern.
The wyvern.
Yeah.
The wyvern has a number of long-range breath abilities. But that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to.
It looks so nice.
The basic attack of the wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat
and
slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage. After the battle though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges, and this is when the wyvern's abilities really come online. When using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack. Once your wings are charged, your wing blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage. If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all. Alright, so those are some melee options, but how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all.
I see the wyvern recycles. He does, yes. The hardest thing to do with fire is create lightning. It's the peak of all dragon attacks. Fire lightning breath. Hell yeah. It's also a thing in Avatar The Last Airbender.
Rolling magma is the first of the wyvern's breath attacks.
Yeah, rolling
magma
magma
that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start.
It's back.
But that's not all you
I
can spit.
love that it's
You have
back
something a
from
little
PoE1.
nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite. If you have power charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your wyvern form to enhance your damage. Making things wet also makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well. And you know what else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage. Now then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it.
That jump
Use
back.
Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
It looks so cool.
Now there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems. Spell Totems are meta gems that
Yeah, I don't
let you
really
create a totem
see
that
the
will automatically
totems.
cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges. You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets,
is it this?
or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. To create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges.
Like, is this the totem? Is that what I'm looking for here?
You could use them to throw
I guess so.
fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless.
And that's when I saw the totems, I was like, okay, so we are going to be having an advanced class called Shaman. Because it's been rumored for a long time, but I was like, are they actually going to go there? Because I feel like that should be a separate class, you know, someday. But like, yeah, I guess it's going to be an advanced class.
Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes.
That
Power
like spellcaster druid still looks sick, because one of the drawbacks in the way the class is designed in Diablo 4 is that basically you go bear earth skills or you go werewolf lightning, and the caster is kind of useless because you're gonna find a helmet that makes you able to cast earth skills in bear form and lightning skills in werewolf form, so you'd kind of just leave the human form behind after a while. But look at this when he's running around the mountainside.
So it's pretty easy for the druid
Look
to
at
get the
this.
charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these.
Like, yeah, he throws out the giant like lightning storm thing that the druid has. Then he's casting Spark, which is like the lightning bolts traveling across the ground that the sorceress gets, because in Path of Exile you can get skills from any class on your character. They're not locked to specific classes. You can get all of them and mix and match however you want. And then when those are going on the ground together with the druid lightning storm, he goes into the wyvern form and he keeps doing more lightning damage doing that, while the storm and the lightning stuff is like traversing, and it
Now, of course,
it looks clean as
they're
hell.
also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these.
Yeah.
Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've
That
over
makes sense,
30
Bexy.
new supports throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them. It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast.
Yeah.
But you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress.
It's wild that Diablo 4 Season 11 is the day before Path of Exile to a Druid. It's such a bad time. Here's my controversial guess for why that is. I've seen this guessed in some places, and I think it's correct. They are heavily alluding to that something will happen during the Game Awards for Diablo 4. And I've seen people speculate that based on the theme of the new season for Diablo 4, that we might be getting the announcement of the next expansion, which I think is highly likely. But what I've also seen speculated that I am starting to fully believe, based on when they are releasing that patch, is that when you pre-order the new expansion, you can get early access to the new Paladin-esque class early. Probably when this season goes live. I think, like, when I read that, I was like, oh shit, they did that in World of Warcraft Legion with Demon Hunters. They can absolutely do that again. And just tie it to you pre-purchasing the expansion. And just shadow drop a Paladin. Oh god. It's like that's the only reason I can see them. Like, there's nothing confirmed for that. Not at all. What I'm saying is that that's my guess for why they are releasing their new season one day before this. It's no, of course it won't take people away from PoE 2. No, of course not. But like, Diablo has sadly just gone into full, like, we are attracting the casual audience territory, which is heartbreaking. But like, that's the only reason I can see this actually working. Or at least the only reason I can see that being a good idea in their eyes. More than anything else. Because people have been screaming for the Paladin since the game came out. Even since they announced the last class for Diablo 4, people have been like, we're not getting a Paladin? Or a Crusader? Or Templar? Like, what do you mean? Our only strength guy is the Barbarian? Why? And honestly, I kind of agree. With an additional price tag, though. Yeah, it is. And that's the monetization route they've chosen. I wouldn't want to compete with this either. Like, every new league or season with Path of Exile is free with a crazy amount of stuff. As, like, being Blizzard, like, I wouldn't want to do that either. I wouldn't want to compete against that, because what? The amount of flexibility in the team and the amount of work they put in for Path of Exile is insane. The amount of stuff they pump out in such a, like, short amount of time is so goddamn impressive. And then Diablo 4 is like, yo, the Helltide has a different color this season. It's like, oh. And here's a new system with borrowed power that is going to disappear after the next season, which is what people complained about in WoW for a very long time. And that team learned that lesson, but the Diablo team is not that quick on the pickup. You know, it's unfortunate, but like, if you're looking for a good sequel to Diablo 2, this is it. This is the game. Stats on items look very similar to Diablo 2. Classes are very similar to Diablo 2. Funnily enough, though, we are also waiting on our Paladin. The Templar isn't here yet. He's gonna have the same stat combination as the Druid. Strength int. So he's gonna be starting at the same spot in the tree. So, I mean, the fact that they feel ballsy enough to release their season one day before the Druid comes out in PoE 2, it has to be the Paladin. Like, it has to be. an early access release of the Paladin. If not, then what are they doing? It's like they're, I don't know. It's like they're looking down their own barrel like, "Oh, it's good. This is a good idea, right?" Like, no, dude. Why do you think that? It makes no sense. It has to be the Paladin. Because if not, there's no helping them. That's it.
Or the monk's staggering palm projectiles. Accelerated growth causes extra
What do
explosive
we
and the
talked about
flames can be
monk.
added
Okay,
to
let
any
me.
wind skill to spread fire from one ignited
My main before the druid has been the monk, and then the mercenary. So I'm very curious about what he said about the monk.
enemy to the other enemies behind them. It's great for the wyvern's wing blast, but you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the twisters on the huntress or the monk's staggering palm projectiles.
Oh, you get fire on the monk, dude? That's cool.
Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground
Cool.
whenever you grow plants with rain. And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse, or to turn tornadoes into a real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along.
I love that because tornadoes and stuff like that in Diablo 2, insane stuff. They were strong, but they had a mind of their own. Like you threw them out and they kind of like traveled where they wanted to go, and you never saw them again. But like the fact that you can throw out a giant tornado and it like sucks up the void damage and then the fires and then just keeps moving, sick. I love it so much. It's the same thing you could do with the giant bell for the monk. You could, like, as a monk, you could throw down the bell and then your teammate could be like, "Yo, I have fire skills." Bonk, bonk, bonk.
And the sorceress might like to use it with
so
Firestorm as
cool.
well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost. Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to nearby enemies. You could use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost, but it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear.
Yeah, clearly.
There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to discover.
Druid with lightning
Now,
spear.
the new class comes to us like
Dax, I know you played Diablo 2, so like imagine if the druid had the Amazon's javelin throw. That's what's happening right here.
obviously needed more AoE clear. There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to discover.
That's the best part about this game. You could be like, okay, so I want to build a warrior as a caster. It's like, you can. He's not going to be the best at it, but you can. You can absolutely do that. But like the fact that you can take the javelin, like the lightning javelin, and then be like, I kind of want to mix in some wolf pack skills to get like some werewolf, like some wolf summons on the side, and then maybe on occasion, I don't know, throw in a tornado and throw javelins while the tornado is traveling through the area. Like you can do all that. That's the coolest part of this game. And the fact that it's free. It's also kind of neat. Early access is a $30 buy-in, but like when it's actually out, it's completely free, and it's, man, so much fun. I can't wait for this patch.
Now, with a new class comes new Ascendancy classes.
Yeah, let's
The
listen
Druid
to
will have
this.
two options for now, with
Ascendancy is basically you reach a point in the game and you can go advanced class. You can pick one of usually 3, but currently for Druid 2, of like what type of character you want to specialize in. So that's what an Ascendancy is.
the third being released later. The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies.
That's so
By
cool.
allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage
No inherent loss of rage. Cool. Regenerate rage per second. Increase reduction to mana. Rage regeneration rate. Skills are not default attacks. Cost rage to use. +5 maximum range. Okay.
Continuously and can spend it to empower your spells. With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the shaman can
Gain the benefits of additional bonded modifiers on runes and idols. So you get the normal and the bonded stuff on runes. That's cool.
harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra.
Yeah. So when you put a skill point into this, you get one of these as well. I was like, do we get either or? Like, do we replace the old one? No, you get both, apparently, based on the wording on that. So now, instead of just getting increased physical damage, which we put in everything, we are also getting increased effect of fully broken armor, which is kind of neat. I feel like that's probably going to be very useful for the bear. I feel like armor break is probably something he would have.
Mods only available to the shaman.
Understand. Break armor on critical hit spells equal to physical. Okay.
These new mods unlock countless new possibilities
Fire damage, increased ignite magnitude.
for enhancing your build.
Attacks have increased critical hit chance. Ooh. I would never use that though, because the accuracy rating doesn't really mean that much when I can have an iron rune in my weapon.
You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster.
Oh yeah.
After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury.
Very cool.
There are other abilities for the shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other druid ascendancy is the Oracle.
Ooh.
The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat.
Like when I saw this, I was like, are we not getting an ascendancy that's focusing on shapeshifting? Like that was the biggest takeaway for me. I'm going to guess right now that we're getting some type of like lycanthrope or something as the third one, because, or Beastmaster or whatever, you know, something that focuses on the animal side of all this stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, so we're not getting like summoning as the druid from the looks of things. Like the werewolf could summon some wolves to help, but like I don't think we've seen more than that. So we're probably not getting a summoner. Well, he can still summon skeletons, but like, what is PoE 2 missing from Diablo 2 now? The cinematics is a huge one. The cutscenes in PoE 2 are like the opening cinematic that is not in the game, but is like on YouTube, is sick. It's very good. But the in-game ones where they like show you like paintings on scrolls, they look great, but it's like, it doesn't hit the same, you know? It doesn't hit the same at all. But like, if we're talking actual like gameplay stuff, we have the Amazon. She's in here now with the Huntress, who can then turn into an Amazon. Assassin, we don't have the fist weapons, and the assassin class is not here yet. So we're missing that. He's coming though. He used to be called Shadow, I think, but they renamed him to Assassin. We have a Necromancer called Witch in this. We have a Barbarian. It's basically the Warrior and the Marauder. So we have half a Barbarian. The other half is coming soon with the Marauder, with the Axis and stuff. And then we have a Sork. Like, straight up just, we have a Sorceress. And we have the Druid now. And we are missing the Templar, who is the Paladin. So yeah, that's kind of it. Like, also, this game doesn't have swords yet, which is kind of a big deal. So, you know, whenever the gladiator, formerly known as the duelist, decides to show up, we will get our swords. Hopefully it's soon. Like, the Templar will bring flails, based on what we've seen. I don't know this for absolute certainty, but like based on what we've seen, the Templar will bring flails, the Gladiator will bring swords, Marauder axes, and the assassin or shadow will bring daggers and probably fist weapons. We don't know where those end up landing though. But so yeah, we're missing those 4 weapon types, which you know, swords are kind of a big deal. I think it's wild to me that we don't have swords yet. But honestly, before even getting an axe or a dagger, give me the flail. Like, give me swords and then the flail. That's my order of priority for these things. Give me the flail.
Massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage. And with Converging Paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both. And one of my favorites, when you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be...
This is what I'm talking about. Like, for people not that experienced with this game, those are skeletons. That's typically not what a druid would do. That's normally what a necromancer would do, or a witch. Thing is, you're not restricted to any type of skills based on what your class is. Like, the reason you're picking a class is because of their starting point on this on the skill tree and the inherent strength in the abilities they gain from their ascendancy, their advanced class. But if you want to be a druid and summon skeletons, you can. That's what he's doing right here.
Able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the druid ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways
that can be cool for hardcore.
that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now there are unique talismans for the druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them,
what
but this
the
one
heck?
is particularly...
Is this roiling magma? Like, that's what people wanted, the necro druid? Hell yeah. Finally, it's here. Like, there's also this neat thing where you can put, like, passive gems on your skills. So there's this thing where, well, basically your damage decreases. However, instead of 1 projectile coming out, it's going to be like 3. So that's what he's doing here with the rolling magma. Like, the fireballs that he spit out, it's going to be 3 of them here. Like,
so
look
we're
at this.
expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these.
Look at the AoE now.
Now there are unique talismans for the druid to use as well.
Like, the clear on that is sick. And then you can put 5 different gems in there. So you're going to be putting, like, okay, just give me 3 of them, give me more AoE size, give me fire damage, give me fire damage, give me fire damage. And the fact that you can, like, increase the AoE size of the skill and then just go further and further and further. Like, you don't have to just stack fire damage for the last 3. You can do other things. You can be like, yeah, you know what? Instead, I kind of want to make the AoE smaller, but do more damage. So you get 3 of the balls, but the impact range of the balls is smaller, but they do more damage. So you can balance it around, like, in such a cool way. It'll splash 2, so overlap is like 2.5 times damage. Hell yeah. It's what I like. Give me lots of things to flood the screen and destroy everything. That is kind of a huge part of this game, yes. There was a time in early access when you could be doing a, like, endgame map, and you would click a thing, it would start a circle that would grow larger and larger and larger, and after a while it, like, ooh, max limit, and then like go back in. But there was a build where you could have basically 2 passives on at the same time, and if you logged out just when breach, exactly. If you logged out just when the circle reached max, so you logged out and you logged back in, you came back to your hideout, you walked through the portal into the map, so you're back at the center. Like, you can place your own portals, right? So you place the portal at the center, basically, of this circle before doing all this. But like, you walk through your portal, you come into the map where you put the portal, the circle is now closing. However, there are enemies everywhere around you. And these two passive skills you had, it kind of impacted your moves in a big way, where they kind of turned from a cold skill and a fire skill, or was it fire and lightning? I don't remember. Two of them were combined to like explode, basically. So you threw out one punch and the entire screen went and everything died immediately. And then you saw the circle come whoop and close the breach. And the entire screen was just dead. Everything was gone. And it could lag your computer pretty severely. I don't know if you can still do this. I haven't tried. It was a lot of fun, though. I do think cold damage was part of it, though, because I kind of remember the cold particles hitting the ground, so it might have been cold lightning, now that I think about it. Because fire wasn't really used that much at the beginning. So that's probably what it was. But that was fun. That was overpowered as hell, but really fun. I don't think it works anymore, though.
Won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your...
We can change the look on the form. Like, in this case, it's the unique item, but like, they're for sure gonna add cosmetics to the store where you can change the look on your forms. For sure. That's gonna happen. Does anything here tell you that it changes the look? Because this is the bear. Like, a huge amount of fire damage. Sick, sick, sick. Grant skill, Molten Crash. Increased flammability magnitude. Adds a bunch of fire damage. Reduced attack speed. Why do they keep doing this? Get rid of this stat. Bunch of strength. Bear skills. Convert 80% of physical damage to fire damage. Nice. Enemies in your presence have exposure. Skills gain to glory every second. That doesn't look like a bear, but damn. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're for sure, they're showing this because they're like, we're going to open this up even more in the future. I mean, I can't wait for that. Like, can you imagine what type of stuff they're going to throw in there? We might have pterodactyls for wyverns, dude. It might be possible. It's not that outlandish, I think. Someday we might be able to play as dinosaurs, dude. That's the dream. Like, I think this is a great idea. And tying it to a unique item as like a first example, I think is awesome. I think that's a great way to show it off. Because at the end of the day, like all other things in PoE you can buy with money, it's cosmetic. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But the fact that there are looks like this tied to uniques is great. Because that means it's not going to be relegated to only being something in the store. So, thumbs up for that one. Love that for all of us. D2 was a game where you can build what you wanted and make it work. D3 felt like an arcade ARPG, I agree. D4 feels like you have to play the way that the devs want you to play. Yup. PoE has always been find what you like and make it work. Yeah. Yes, I couldn't have said it any better. That's exactly it. That's perfect. It is really just, hey, you know, you want to make something insane? Have fun. And like, yeah, of course there's always going to be a meta forming, you know, you can't escape that. But it is really funny to me that like the leveling meta for this game has become lightning arrow for everyone. So everyone is like, I'm going to pick up a bow and learn to shoot lightning arrows, and it's going to be amazing. And somehow it works for everyone. Sorceress, go ahead. Lightning arrow. Like Amazon, yes, of course. Huntress, I mean, I guess, but it's like, yeah, but I'm also going to use Lightning Arrow. And it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You're a Dex character, sure. Of course. And then, like, you have as I said, the Sorceress doing the same thing. You have the Warrior doing the same thing. And somehow it works for all of them. Same with the Monk. The Monk is awesome with Lightning Arrow. It's like, how is this so good for everyone? And it's a level 1 skill? Who thought of this? I mean, I love the move, so please don't ruin it, but like, it's so good. But that's what I love about the game. You're like free to mix and match and just take the stuff that you want to play and just make it work. I hate the term, but sandbox ARPG fits. Yep, absolutely. Like, especially when it comes to like the theory crafting around building a toolkit of skills. Yes. Absolutely, sandbox fits. At the beginning, I was a merc summoner. That's awesome. I ended up going from, because like the classes that I was like really excited about in this game was the Druid, which is what made me pick up Path of Exile to begin with. I saw that the Druid was announced for this game. I was like, I need to play the first one now. I've tried like 8 times, it never grabbed me. And then I saw the Druid stuff, I was like, I'm getting into this now. I can't. So yeah, the classes I were excited for were, of course, the Druid, number 1. Second one was the Monk, because I love the Monk in Diablo 3. Like, Diablo 3 is way too arcadey for my tastes, but the Monk is awesome. I love the Monk in Diablo 3. And that was my guy until the Crusader came out. But now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, I think I still preferred the Monk over the Crusader, even though I played Crusader probably more at the end of the day. But Monk was my boy. So it was Druid, Monk, and Merc, the mercenary, because I kind of love crossbows. I think they're dope. I've always liked crossbows more than bows. I don't know why. I just love the aesthetic of soldier with crossbow. I think it's awesome looking. So when I played, I was like, I'm going to start with a Monk. And that whole playthrough is on the channel. Except for like the last 2 parts. I haven't uploaded those yet. I will. They will be up before this patch comes out. So there's that. And that whole playthrough was me playing a Monk as my first impression of the game. And then on the side of that, I was also playing as the mercenary to see what the game was like in co-op with a friend of mine. And I was like, this is very different. This is very different. And we were struggling in co-op, dude. Solo, it went kind of okay, because turns out the Monk is kind of overpowered as soon as you get like level 14 or what it is, where you get Ice Strike. But we played a Warrior and a Mercenary like on early access launch in co-op, and we could not get past the Act 1 boss for like over a day. We were struggling hard against that guy. And that's also kind of neat that the game has like actually really challenging boss fights. I think that's very fun. So yeah, I got to play like 2 of the 3 classes I wanted when this game came out. And every season, those are the 2 I keep coming back to. I've leveled all of them to like level 85 or whatever. And not all the ascendancies, but all the base classes. And for sure, the one that I vibe with the least is the Witch. It's just not my thing. Not at all. The Ascendancies, I don't really enjoy. The Demon form, I don't really enjoy. I've never been a huge Summoner player, so the Witch kind of just doesn't speak to me at all. And then second least is probably the Warrior. Like, mace stuff isn't really that interesting to me. It's very slow. It's a little bit clunky. Like, it's fine, but I kind of like the best build when I played through as a Warrior was to use basic attack for like the majority of the story. And that's not that fun. And even when I used a bunch of other skills, they kind of felt very underwhelming. I haven't played now that they have the huge fire AoE thing they got last season. That looks dope, but I haven't tried that. But I kind of want to. And then you know what? No, I think probably Huntress is the one I like the least. Now that I think about it, I forgot she existed. It's that bad. Yeah, I just don't like the early skills for the Huntress at all. So, no, Witch is probably still the worst, but for me. But Huntress is like, I just don't like the Huntress early game at all. She's way more fun later, but the struggle to get there is just not fun for me. And then, like, over that, I kind of enjoy all the other ones. But, like, peak, like, if we're talking, like, characterization, like, voice acting, the Mercenary is the funniest character in this entire game. However, the Witch is great as well, so I'm gonna actually give her that. The Witch voice acting and writing is so good. She's insanely funny. And, yeah, the Merc is basically Billy Butcher from The Boys, so, you know. It's kind of great. So, yeah. I don't even remember why I spiraled off into this rant, but whatever. Oh yeah, you were a Merc Summoner at the beginning. Yes, that's where I wanted to go. So I started as the Monk, tried the Mercenary, and then when the Mercenary came to, like, maps, I was like, yo, the best current build for the Mercenary is to go Quarterstaff, just like my Monk, and stat stack. Oh, so my Mercenary ended up becoming a better Monk than my Monk. So that's where I was going with all of that. We finally arrived. There has to be a unique item for change for Wolf and Wyvern. There has to be, yeah. Co-op scale is kind of wild. People suffered with it solo in Mercenary League and PoE 1, and the scale was half a person. Damn. Does this game have auto attacks, or do you make every attack with a click yourself? Yes, they don't auto attack at all. It's you can, like, hold down the mouse button to, like, use your basic move as it is, but, like, generally most classes don't really have a build energy, spend energy. Like, some do, but, like, most of the time, whenever you're using a spell, it's gonna have some impact. There are, of course, exceptions, but, like, you never, you know, you always click to send out whatever it is you're doing. If you're playing on a console and you're using a bow and arrow, you will be holding down the button for the skill when you're shooting arrows, like, as an example. So every attack and move is like a deliberate click. It always takes me out of any immersion when there are auto attacks for some reason. Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. The only genre where I kind of just... I think the only genre I play where I even think auto attacks exists are MMOs. And in there, I kind of want them to be there. I don't know. So, but yeah, I do agree with you that if they were, like, if my character was going to be auto-attacking, I think that would be very distracting in a game like this. So I'm very glad that they don't.
Bear form into a fire demon, converting most of your damage to fire.
Look at that. That's a bear.
As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves fissures around you. This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Vaal.
Yeah. So I don't think we need to watch this part again necessarily, but...
It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
This is like the league mechanic. So basically every league or season, they add a new... Like, this is the main thing we're doing this season, the new huge mechanic. And it's always very involved. Like, this time we're building a temple as we're exploring it. Which is kind of wild. It's interesting that he seemed like he was affected by the oil spillage on himself.
Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets. You will be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen.
My queen. It's all fun and games.
Hear me.
Until she acquires a second set of
I have studied it, Doriani.
chest bags. I don't
You do not know it like I do.
like when people saw her in the announcement trailer, they were like, why does she have the physique of a normal human woman? That makes no sense based on what we've heard.
Be your desire.
She's supposed to have 4 of them. It's like,
Fulfill my
that's what we're worried about? And then they showed her later on with like, she has 4. It's like, oh, okay. It's real.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, game director on Path of Exile.
Yeah, and then
In the fate of the Vile
we like talk about the league
you
quite a
can
bit.
also make finishing that skill with the
And then we have the
the
packs. I kind of want to look at the helmet
and shields.
of the first pack.
We're launching 2 new series of supporter packs. Precursor, simply stay still for a moment.
It's like,
The precursor
it reminds me of something.
enemies with
This helmet. This mouth specifically. Like, am I thinking of... It kind of reminds me of the like Fallen Draenei, I guess, a little bit from Warcraft. They're called a broken. That's the word, but they don't really look like that. They do kind of look like that a bit in Warcraft 3. I guess it's a lost one. That's what I'm referring to, I guess. But there's something else. It kind of looks like a Bionicle mask. Just the opening around the mouth specifically. There is some, like, I feel like I've seen that part somewhere. Just don't know where. It's like weirdly like trying to rip a memory out of my brain, and for some reason I'm struggling to place it, but like just this specific portion, like nose down, is similar to something. Just cannot for the life of me place it. It's very cool though. Very cool looking. It is, yeah.
with your own gravitational
It's gonna drive me
pull.
insane looking at
Precursor
that helmet,
legacy.
trying to place
Game
what
design
it's making me
focus.
think of.
Doing some dungeon.
So, I'm just gonna do a quick BRB, guys, and when I get back, we're gonna listen for a while to the Q&A, and we'll see if we stick around much longer after that, or if we decide to, call it quits for the night. But, like, we'll give it at least like 20, 30 minutes, I think, to see if they're gonna be talking about anything like super interesting. But I'll be right back. So, stretch your legs, get some water. I'll be right back. Do I wanna do like maybe start some Pee-wee music in the background, maybe? Maybe I will. Let's see here. Do. Do. We get some video source. There we go. Yeah. The League comes out in 7 days and 21 hours, boys. So I'm going to do that, then go back to the stream, and we'll do that. Yeah. And I'll be right back. So, hang tight. We'll watch the Q&A very soon. BRB. Do-do-do-do-do. I'm back. Okay. Let's see here. Hello. Where art thou? Why are you all the way up there? Hold on. It's a Q&A now, so it's going to be a bit more relaxed. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the desk. You know? See, it feels right. Well, maybe around that height, I think. Ugh. Oh, hey. It's so weird. I don't really have the space on my desk right now to actually, like, you know, reach for the keyboard or anything like that, because I'm kind of in the middle of building a thing. It's the Balrog fight thing. So I'm kind of... I have that half finished on my desk. So I can't really, like, pull my keyboard out and just start clicking a bunch of stuff. So it feels a bit weird. Yeah, the Balrog Book Nook. And because I did get the... From Wicked Bricks, I think they're called. I bought the... like a stylized case for the set that comes with like a custom background and stuff, so that I can just have it encased in this box so that I don't have to care about dust or anything like that. And I can just have it beautifully displayed. And if it's a good case with the background and everything, I will order 2 more. One for the Rivendell set right there, and for the Barad-dûr set I have down here that you can't see. So that's the plan. If it's a good set. A good box, I mean. Did you get my DM on Twitch? I did, yes. I haven't looked at it yet, but I have indeed received it, so thank you, Giant. I will be looking at that. Let's look at the Q&A stuff and see if they tell us anything mind-blowing, shall we? I should probably, you know, exit this.
Welcome back, Exiles, to the Q&A portion. I am your host, Ziggy D, and today we're going to be touching on the design of the Druid and the Fate of the Var League while we get some community questions. Then we'll deep dive into endgame, balance, and other game design topics. I am, of course, joined by game directors Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts. How you guys going today?
Oh, very good. I mean, you know, it's been a great one to work on this
game
month.
director,
really
game director.
So yeah, it's definitely great to see you again. And it feels like it's only been like no time at all since the last time you were here with the PoE1 release.
It feels like only several weeks, and that's pretty accurate.
yeah.
We get to see you twice as often now, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm around every 2 months or so now, roughly. It's great. I love it. Let's keep going. So I do have to open with this, though. Is like Druid looked a little bit weak, I think, in the demonstration video today.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that we have is like we're so concentrating on like just demonstrating how the mechanics work that we sort of forget to be like, okay, let's actually make sure the damage numbers that we're doing on this like test character we're filming here are actually like in line with what people actually normally expect. So yeah, there's just a few things there that we probably should have caught and made a little stronger there. But yeah, when you actually play it, it's certainly from the alpha feedback incredibly powerful. Like
yes.
you know, the like, you know, we were seeing some people say, oh, you know, the wolf looks weak or whatever. Well, I can assure you that on alpha there's a bunch of people saying the wolf is super OP. So
hell yeah,
it just comes down to the things you go through in order to demonstrate stuff.
I think
Give me
we
the OP wolf.
probably
Work over 2 game directors is probably one of the best or most stressful experiences. Yeah. Roberts is his last name. Mark over here is kind of the game director of Path of Exile 1 now. So they've kind of split off at this point somewhat. Mark is still, as far as I know, very involved in Path of Exile 2, but I don't think he's involved to the same degree that Jonathan is, as far as I'm aware. Could have changed. Unsure. But mainly now he's the PoE 1 guy, taking care of the old game. But he's still involved here.
Probably going to be worthwhile. We make some videos showing a bit more of the less demonstratey side and get them posted and stuff this week. Because honestly, you can just play it literally right now, and it's
Yeah, I've definitely been playing and recording a bit myself because I was like, when I first watched it as well, the draft, I was thinking, it's like I don't really get a feel for what it feels like to actually play it. Like there's good demonstration here of the mechanics, but yeah, I can understand how from your perspective it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, we want to communicate how this cool thing works and this cool thing works.
There's a fine line there for sure. Where if you get too hectic, people are like, I don't even know what's going on. They're just looking at a ruckus. And then, in this case, let's say we went on a little too far on the other side of the line, was just a bit too slow. And as a result, yes, it can look a bit weak. But
yeah, I think we'll try and get some like raw Druid gameplay out to people to understand. I think particularly for this class, because of the shape-shifting stuff, it's so hard for us to, normally we can look at something and be like, oh, that's just a demonstration. We kind of know what it would look like at endgame. But I think with the Druid, it's just so unusual. It's so different that it's actually hard to judge what it would feel like to even play it. And I'm happy for my hands-on to say that like it's almost immediately like very smooth. The shape shifting of it, the movement of it, especially because like in your demonstrations, you're not really using dodge, roll, sprint, that sort of thing as well. Which makes a big difference.
I suppose one of the things we didn't really dwell on in the video as well is that we do actually have dodge roll. I mean, they're not actually rolls for the animals, but yeah, all the animals can like hop around.
In the early footage they showed years ago, the bear was rolling. I hope they haven't removed that, because that looked amazing.
Around and that kind of stuff. And that was honestly one of those things.
Have them roll in towns.
Kind of funny because initially we actually had it so when you dodge roll, you would transform back into a human. And the reason we did that is because it's really hard to make animations for animals that like actually work correctly. Like we actually thought it was impossible. But then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the kind of visceral reaction of I want to still be a bear, like while I'm hopping around. So we ended up having to like work out like how can we make this possible? How can we make it so that you can actually do the dodge rolling as an animal? And that sort of ended up being pretty good, I would say.
And this was like clearly the hardest class to design so far, and it took a bit longer. Like I think you were originally hoping to bring it out in a previous expansion.
Yeah, quite a while ago. But the thing is with it is that it's kind of like designing 4 classes in one, because not only do you have the situation where like obviously we want to have synergy between skills and stuff like that, and we can like look at that in a normal class and work out what those might be. But with this class, people want to be able to play just as a bear or just as a wolf, as well as people who want to play like dual with a human and a wolf, or people who just want to be a wolf and a bear, and like all the different combinations. So we had to kind of come up with a way for like each line needs to be self-sufficient and that it's got all the tools that you need. But at the same time, you have to not have it so it feels like there's just duplication between them. We're like, oh, like this is just the same thing as what a bear has, but you are a wolf instead. So we kind of have to like, it's like you need all the tools, and yet you also need to have them feel different. And that just made it really, really tricky to get all of the things right with it. And then it didn't also help that, since the last time we were working on the Druid, way back when we showed it off in Gamescom 2023, we had WSD. And that is a whole other complication because, like how can we make that work with the animal forms? It's like a whole thing. Like I'll tell you the Wyvern, for example, like we had a hell of a time making it so that you could do the ranged attacks because you need to be able to walk while you're doing it. The Wyvern's sitting there with its arms like planted on the ground, like being able to walk while also spinning.
Give me all the Wyvern stuff.
We went through so many iterations of that. So yeah, it was just a very tricky class overall, like just crazy.
I remember seeing some very goofy looking like Wyvern like months and months ago.
Yeah.
We were like trying to, this is not working right.
Right.
Like,
well, I also remember like for a long time the wolf was just like a dancing dog. It was just like it looked really silly. And like man, the wolf as well. I mean, it was really hard to get right, and because one of the things we really wanted to avoid was I didn't want that too much of that whole like man in a wolf suit vibe. Yes. Like I wanted to actually get the feeling of like this is an actually different animal, which I think with the bear and the wyvern's way easier. With the wolf, it's like it's really hard not to just go back into that. So we had a lot of questions about like what even the locomotion was. How does it walk? Are we going to walk on 2 legs? Are we going to walk on 4? We ended up splitting the difference. You can do both, right? Like you get that when you're attacking and you can be upright walking on 2 legs. When you're walking, you run on 4, and you actually do get a speed boost while you're on 4 legs. Like as a wolf, just so after like 1 second of walking, you go down on 4 legs. You start moving a bit faster. So yeah, it's
actually
pretty cool.
An interesting thing there, I don't think is each form technically has a kind of passive benefit.
Right.
So obviously you've got the running fast as a wolf. Can't remember exactly what the wyvern ones were, but like for the bear, for example, because you're just a bit bigger, bit of a tank. You actually do get armor, and armor applies to elemental damage as a thing, and like there's a kind of which is like honestly, unless you actually click the bear keyword, is like undescribed everywhere.
Well, it was even more than that because I was just looking at it in game before. The bear has like passive endurance charge generation.
Yes, it
from
does.
Rage
So from
expenditure.
rage expenditure, it does.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we really wanted to make sure that each of the different forms had things that can benefit the other forms. So like it was really tricky to think like, what are resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources that wolf can generate? What are the ones the wyvern can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get that cross synergy?
Very neat.
So yeah, that's kind of like one of the reasons why we had to kind of come up with all that stuff. And that, part of the trickiness.
And that caught me by surprise as well, because like technically it's mentioned, but I never really fully understood the idea that you can swap between the forms, like human to animal and back. Yeah, I figured that's what's going on here. But but you can like leap in as a wolf and then immediately transform to a bear mid slam.
You absolutely can. So the thing with this is that you want to present a fantasy to someone as far as like what the UI is pushing you towards and all that sort of stuff. Like there are going to be a lot of people who are like, I want to be a bear, and they just pick bear stuff and they go all bear, right? But at the same time, we're unconstrained in the sense that you can pick all the other stuff, you can use it at the same time. So one talisman, like effectively when you pick on a talisman from like wolf, bear, or wyvern, what that's giving you is the default attack, right? That's what you're actually picking, and that's all it is, right? And that often will guide you, like what skills you're picking and so on, but you can just use with that same talisman as many different animal skills as you would like.
Okay, I'm gonna have to refresh because the timeline kind of ends here on the video. So I'm at 150, so let me refresh the page. Are they still going? My guy, they're still going.
As many different animal skills as you would like, that just means that you've got that sort of free-flowing, like, you know, trying out different stuff.
They're now at 3 hours and 31 minutes. Like they've been going for another hour and 40.
Like to try and get. So, you know, obviously there will just be a lot of people who just pick one thing, right? Like I absolutely expect that.
Insane. We're not going to watch the whole
There's a lot of experimentation
Q&A.
to do there if you want to do it.
Yeah, so you've tried to hit like making it so like people who just want like a simple straightforwards, like I just want to run out as bear.
Unless you guys really
ground,
want
like,
me to, but I don't.
Certainly very possible there. But also you with this whole class, you had the problem of how do we make like a spellcaster and a melee attacker that's shapeshifter as well. I mean, this class has got a bit of everything. For sure.
Yeah.
How did you make all that kind of like work together and solve that build problem of like, how do you actually scale these things together in a way that just one
That's
thing
the
is
neat
way
part.
better than
You
another?
don't.
Right. Well, I mean, it's always tricky, and Mark's obviously the one who handles a lot of the balance stuff. But I can see, even just from a design perspective.
Oh, so he is still very involved
you know,
in
so
that. Okay, so he's still very involved in the balance side of things. Good to know. I thought he had moved primarily back to PoE 1, but I guess he still very much is involved in this. That's cool. Also, is this what the hoodie looks like? I have the hoodie. I haven't unpacked it. I did the supporter packs because I needed the art book. Okay, I needed the art book. It was very expensive. I don't remember the full cost, but I kind of don't want to remember because goddamn, it was expensive. But that meant I also got a t-shirt and like a hoodie, and you know, I don't even know if this is what the one I have looks like. It's out there in a plastic thing, but yeah. The comment about not wanting all three forms to be similar was a dig at Diablo 4. I mean, it sure feels like that. Because, like, the other ARPG going on right now that, like, people care about is Last Epoch, even though that's kind of self-imploding right now. The forms in that game are very different from each other. The bear form and the... What's the Swarm Blade? Is that the name of it? It's like Scyther from Pokemon. Like, those are the two main forms in that game, and they are very different. They're very different from each other. And then you have Spriggan form, which is like a tree healing kind of thing. Also very, very different. So that definitely feels like a jab at Diablo 4, for sure.
Over the fence all my horrible stuff, and then you're like, how the hell am I going to balance this? But effectively, like, so even with the spellcaster side, so one of the things we initially wanted with the spellcasting is a lot of it's like over time type effects that you know, so for example with the volcano being the really obvious one, right? Like you can create this thing, and then you can turn into an animal and do other stuff at the same time. So we needed on the human side a lot of things that last for a long time. But the problem you then run into when you actually go to balance the thing is like, okay, well, if you've just got like 5 damage over time style spells, why not just cast all of them and then you don't have to ever do anything else, right? Like, so it's like that kind of stuff makes it really hard. So then you have to start thinking, okay, we want to make it so that you cast a long-term thing as a human, but then being an animal is going to augment that so that it improves it. So for example, with the tornado, it's got a similar mechanic to the little twisters that the hunters have, where ground effects can empower it with
Elements.
elemental stuff.
There you go.
And so then we're like, okay, well, if the animal forms are the ones that can create the ground effects, then that means that you're kind of like, you're going to want to do, you know, like, to mix that with the tornado, you now have to have both the animal forms and the spellcaster stuff if you want to get all of that together. So it's just a lot of that thinking about how can an animal form aid a spell, how can a spell aid an animal form, like all the way through. And then, yeah, as I said, we throw it over the fence, and then Mark tries to work out what kind of numbers can actually make it
it's a web of infinite difficulty, right? Because like we're talking about the 4 forms within the class, but each of these skills also synergizes with every other class and every other skill in the game, and it's becoming growingly more complicated. But that's also what's fun about the game, and all the things you can unlock and the crazy builds you can do. But yeah, I mean, like this week's focus has been like, okay, we had all the, like during our alpha testing and internal testing, we had like, you know, there was the I want to be all forms going between, there was the I just want to be wolf, I just want to be bear, I just want to be a dragon, and now we're getting a lot more of I just want to cast nature plant skills and do plant stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, how do we make that work? Well, because they're quite long duration, so we're having a bunch of complexity with that as well. And it honestly just, it does just spiral into like, oh my God, there's 20 million variables here, but it's fun. And at the end of the day, as long as it is honestly fun to play,
that's what matters.
Honestly, we're golden. So, you know, I would say we're pretty much there on almost everything with this class. I'd actually say we're a little bit more prepared than normal. We've had a lot of testing. Despite, I mean, partly because it's been in the works for so long. But yeah, it's, I don't know, like ultimately pretty fun. I'd say there's still something, obviously there's still more to do. There's obviously always more to do.
Yeah, we're like
there's a lot going on.
Missing a whole ascendancy class.
I saw yesterday, I was just like walking past someone's computer, and you know, someone was mentioning like, yeah, it's just fun placing 6 volcanoes and then just slamming on them. I was like, all right, sweet, you do you. Like that's fine.
I was definitely enjoying obliterating bosses in bear form, like with dropping tornadoes, and there's the totem which you can summon in animal form, and then you're putting fishes down and they're exploding, and you're putting extra things on the ground and they're exploding. And there was definitely some boss deletion.
He said fishers. I thought he said fishes. I was like, there's fish skills? I'm like, we have water moves too? Yo! The fish summoner.
Going on there.
Even just walking past the just many entangles going out, and then there's that plant support gen. I'm like, all right, it's putting the new...
I see chat being like, no, Ziggy, don't get it nerfed. I do have to admit that I did already get one thing, let's say fixed. There was a thing that was like double generating rage. So I'm like, I don't know if this is intended. Right. Like, no, the designer said that's probably not intended. Thanks, Ziggy. I'm like,
I don't know. I will see
ruining the fun.
Because I was like, no, that's fine.
This is a fish.
It made it to me, and I was like, no, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it generates rage when you first slam, and then the fishes, every time they pulse, it generates rage. I'm like,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't even know that.
Because like the totem's making it pulse, and it's generating rage.
Right.
I'm like, that doesn't seem
that's fun.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's fine.
That's like,
thank you, Mark.
So that feels like way permissive. I was like, this feels illegal, but that's like... You gotta let a few things in there that feel illegal.
It's
exactly. W Mark.
Maybe I didn't get enough. Okay, cool.
I don't know. They might have changed it. I'll find out afterwards. I just throw my opinion in there. I don't want to necessarily be like, you know, I try and make sure with a lot of these balanced discussions, it's not like, you know, I'm just an authority on the matter. I want to actually discuss these things through, because maybe it isn't actually fine, but you know, my first instinct is like, yeah, like let it run wild. Like, what's the problem? You know? So
yeah, you gotta.
We'll see what happens, but whatever. They don't know what the problem is, so don't worry. Oh, now they do. Thanks, you ruined it. Now people will know if it changed, and now
they'll see the thing not generating rage.
No, it's out there.
Let's see that line of text. Now that's the Ziggy line of text. I'm developing a reputation now.
Yeah, the snitch.
Bugs, it's okay.
Stop snitching all the fun mechanics. But like, I love the way Mark approaches stuff like this, because he's like, no, that's not, like, that made it to me, and it's fine. It sounds fun. Let it stay. It's like, he's not the arbiter of, like, I have final say on everything, apparently. Based on what he's saying here, he's like, I don't know if they did change it, but, like, when it came to me, I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, whatever. But there seems to be some type of democracy with this, I guess. But like in general, I like his attitude towards skills and all that stuff that so far, at least, what I've heard from him. from the PoE2 streams.
Like the shapeshifting stuff comes from this trinket, the talisman?
Yeah, the animal talisman.
And is there any limitation just kind of like putting that on another class and just say like,
think
I
there would be,
am playing
no.
my mace marauder or my quarterstaff monk and I want to do a wolf leap slam that marks targets?
You can do it. In fact, it was one of the things initially that it's funny with the audio team, because initially like, oh, we want to record like bear lines for the druid the whole time, and I'm like, hey guys, remember, anyone can turn into this animal. You're actually going to commit to every single class is going to have like three different extra versions of every single line.
Do it. Do it.
Like, yeah, that's a bit tricky. So we ended up going with a voice mod in the end.
Okay.
But, yeah, that was one of those.
It's like their thoughts. I think it shifts to. It almost sounds like, to me, that's what it sounds like. They're like, they're thinking it or something like that. I don't know.
But it would have been completely impossible to record every single line an additional 3 times for every character class.
Voice actors, everybody come back and we need to roar like a bear.
Exactly. Effectively, every class
Man,
can be an animal. It's exactly the same as the other.
I would love to hear what the witch would sound like with custom voice lines for being a bear. That'd be so much fun. She has the sassiest goddamn voice in the entire game. And I can't even imagine what she would be like if she had custom dialogue for like shapeshifting. That'd be insane. Oh yeah, exactly, Pexy. That's the moment it goes off the rails. For sure.
The weapon restriction. Ultimately, being a bear is the same as having a mace, which may sound a little bit odd, but that is actually, how it works and what allows, having...
Whoa. I didn't even think about that. Wait, so you can use mace skills while in bear?
No. What I mean is that it's the same. I mean, it's the same in the sense that it's just a weapon type, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Damn it, now we have to make that possible.
Well, I mean, you can turn into Calm as a bear.
That's unique item territory for the future.
It often gets talked about, like, the idea of, like, why are things, like, so weapon locked? And I've always maintained the position that you guys want to kind of do that as much as possible initially, and then in the future you can blur the lines a little bit. Like there's maybe in the future you're like, oh well, maybe this skill has a way of crossing over.
We can do, but the thing is, a lot of the identity of a weapon type really comes a lot from what it can do, and so that's the main reason why we do it that way. But but the thing is as well with the weapon swapping, I mean, you can still use skills from different elements. Different weapons and things like that.
The thing is, like, it's funny that you mentioned that with the bear, because, like, definitely some of the bears, I noticed parallels between some of its skills and some of the mace stuff, and I could see absolutely combining, like, this bear skill that places fishes with the other stuff on the mace that triggers the fishes. Like, there's, like, very obvious, like, cross-synergy build.
Well, I mean, they're adjacent classes, right? I mean, you've got, like, strength versus strength int. Like, we want to be able to make sure that some of those key elements do, like, cross over just so that to open up the way to have synergy between the different classes more easily.
Well, as you get more classes and more skills, you obviously get an overlap of the kind of mechanics and keywords and stuff, iterating, and thus they will always cross-synergize. And where there still will be new things a class offers, yes, there's always going to be a bunch of stuff that they use that will then interact with all the other skills. So.
Yeah, and now you added plants and plants that grow from rain, and there's a plant keyword that has overgrown as a keyword.
It's interesting actually, those ones, because they're on completely opposite sides of the tree. You've got dex versus strength int, and that's been a little bit hard to kind of like get the...
That's what I'm saying.
Should go on one side versus the other. So where we ended up going is that the nature side of things for plants on the strength int is like you've got the poison on the dex side versus the kind of like just pure nature, like physical damage spells on the strength inside, but that's been fun though, because now it's actually been really fun designing the supports, because the more classes we have, the more we can start to think, okay, like here's a support that's for something obscure. How can we make it so this can apply to some other kind of thing on the opposite side of the tree, where like now you've got some interesting interaction. So there could be some kind of like thing where growing plants as a ranger could be sort of something. I mean, like I can't say I've tested the potential there myself, but like we made all of that work. All the plants can, like plant stuff all has mechanics around like watering the ranger's plants is like a thing. They all have ways that works.
I mean, that definitely opens up interesting party options in the future as well. Like, I do like the idea of being like a rainy druid watering.
It's a thing. It's easily a thing. It's not even hard to do as well.
Right.
It's kind of just like, thanks, druid, you buffed poison rangers.
Yeah.
Oh god.
That's kind of just what happened.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, and the rain buffing lightning skills as well, like increasing shock chance.
Lightning arrow.
It's
Lightning arrow is back, boys. It never left. All hail lightning arrow. That's really funny.
Wild how much stuff you've just jammed into one class here. How did you like kind of settle on a identity for the wyvern in particular? I feel like people know what a bear is, people know what the wolf is, and even a lot of the like druid
Looking for group level 96 druid sprinkler. Oh man.
stuff is pre-established.
You know
as
there's going to be
got plants
characters
and you got, like,
named that.
nature and you got like lifting
yeah.
up the earth, that sort of stuff.
Well, we really wanted to have a third form that was a little bit out there in terms of different from what you'd seen in another game. I mean, obviously, like every game that's got transformations,
go grab
has
that
the bear
name
and the wolf,
Pexi
right?
before
That's
it's
just, like, the
taken.
staple. But, and actually, for that, funnily enough, for that reason, we couldn't not do it. There was actually a period there where we weren't going to have a wolf because we were a little bit unhappy. Yeah, with us, and it's just like, well, exactly right. That was the reaction. That was the reaction of like all the furries come out of the woodwork and like, you gotta have a wolf.
How dare you?
How dare exactly right. So we're like, okay, we'll have a
Wow.
yeah, exactly. Don't anger them. You know, so that was a real concern. So we decided.
That's what what he thinks is happening. Okay. The entire furry community outraged. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight them either, but I think there's a larger group than that would, like to have the werewolf be in the game.
I just go, we needed the two familiar, and then we needed one that was a little more out there. And really, when we were looking at the bear and the wolf, it was kind of like we want the slower, harder hitting. We want the faster and like speedy kind of version, obviously being the wolf. We also wanted something that had some range elements, and then a sort of more spellcastery vibe a little bit more. And so we sort of thought about it a little bit like, what animal is ranged? Like, it's not really, there's it's kind of not a lot out there that can really sort of do that.
Hedgehog.
And so, eventually we settled on the wyvern. I mean,
it's a sick choice.
Someone, of course, at one point was like, how about a dragon? And we're like, what the heck? What are you talking about? But then eventually I thought about it, and it's like, actually, you know what? There's some potential here.
If you suggested to me, I told you not to do it because like, there's no way you could make it look good and not look stupid. But
it looks great.
We did get there.
It actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a spell blade almost. Like, it's got a bit of range stuff, but it's got.
That's insane, Mithrix. That's insane. You're probably right, but goddamn.
A bit of like spell kind of melee things going on.
I mean, as it should be for Strength Int.
Yeah, and you were asking what the passive buffs were. I was looking at it before. It's like it's got buffs to freeze, shock, and energy regeneration actually, as well, like energy recharge, I think.
It's a shame you knew. The reason I was actually being vague is I knew what they were. I just wanted to change them.
Do something.
Sorry
cool.
for my slight disingenuousness.
Cool.
I kind of feel like they shouldn't. I didn't want them to be offensive benefits.
Yeah, they're supposed to be defensive.
It forces you into certain build types.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if they're utility or defensive, that way they will work across all board. That's my general philosophy. So I was like, I feel like I want to have a go at trying to design the energy shield thing. I don't mind. I wanted to have a go at designing stuff that's more utility or defensive only, and that way you don't feel like, I should have to play lightning or fire because it gets the passive benefits. That way, if you wanted to do a kind of weird out there thing, it doesn't feel so bad, but we'll see what I come up with.
Do you have an idea, or are you still figuring it out?
Nah, I got no clue. I don't know. You could play on the fact it's got like wings to something defensive for block, or something for hard carapace maybe, or I don't know, the fact it has wings, something to do with the wings,
much dragon lore to pull from. I got like a book that my daughter really likes to read that's like full of dragon lore. I'll send you some ideas.
All right, sweet, yeah. Dragon, they hoard gold, right? Gold find?
Yeah, totally.
That sounds like it.
Eight piles of gold for buffs or something.
There's gold over there. Quick, shapeshift, pick it up, shapeshift back. No,
Gold find is honestly a good idea, in my
I'm
opinion.
not doing that.
Gold find, no, please don't. Mandatory
I'm cool with
dragon
it.
gold find build. I know it's kind of funny though. It's distinctly PoE.
Yeah. I don't hate that at all.
Is this like strength int class, and with the Templar, we had the idea more of like you've got that armor energy shield stuff. But that's still the case here, as that's the strength int base. But I feel like the energy shield stuff is not as iconic to Druid. How have you incorporated that and made it feel like something that makes sense, or like in what ways have you incorporated that to the druid? I feel like it's not obvious.
Yeah, look, is a little bit off in terms of the feel there, but at the end of the day, we kind of don't really have many options as far as what we can do. I mean, like that, it is important for it to be that it has that, you know, like armor and energy shield approach. There's a few sort of interesting, what do you call them, spirit reservation gems. I don't know I can never remember what the official name of that is. That sort of interact with that stuff. And
It never really made much sense to me that the druid was strength int. I guess, like, I realize it's because, you know, he's a caster, but he's also, like, tapping into his animalistic side, and those are, like, huge beasts. But I've always seen a druid to be more, like, int dex. I don't know. Probably because whenever I think of a shapeshifting druid, I always think of the werewolf, and that's a more dexterous form than a bear. So that's probably just my own bias. Because of board placement. Well, yes, I realize that because int dex is already taken by the assassin and the monk. I realize that reasoning. It's just more from like my own, like my own brain making sense of it. You know, because like if that's the only reason that it's the only spot open, then I'm like, is that a good enough explanation? You know? Because what we know about PoE2 is that they kind of did a whole second game because they wanted to add the druid. Like during like the Exile Con they did a few years back, that was one of the talking points. It started out with us wanting to add a druid to the game, and we basically decided, why don't we add a full-on second class to every stat combination on the board? I'm like, oh, okay. But using that logic, the druid would be first, which means the entire placement of the board would be open. And I don't know. Like, I don't think you can move monk. Like, monk needs to be int dex, in my opinion. But I kind of think that the placement of int dex for the assassin or shadow kind of makes a bit less sense. In my mind, the assassin would be like pure dex, and the hunters wouldn't be here. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. A druid's just a war chief strength with intelligence. A war chieftain, yeah. I can see that for sure, yeah. Like, even in Diablo lore, druids are like barbarians that decided to leave society and become one with nature, basically. They are, like, offshoots of the barbarians. So, like, I guess the strength part makes sense. I just... Personally, I've always just associated druids with int dex. Like... And I kind of got that in Diablo 4, weirdly enough, because, like, there's a lot of stuff I have to criticize Diablo 4 for. But the fact that they made druids wisdom in that game, which is like an offshoot of int, kind of feels more accurate to me. I don't know. It's one of the things that they did with the Diablo 4 druid that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good choice. I don't know. I've never really understood the int strength combination, but like, I can see where you're coming from for sure, and I can see the logic there. It's just not computing for me. Imagine a WoW orc shaman with dex. Yeah. Yeah. Druid being connected to wisdom is also a D&D thing. Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. A WoW orc shaman with dex. I mean, that's kind of always how I thought it when you turn into a ghost wolf. Like, oh, I'm turning into the more, like, evading nature type style of movement to, like, run around faster and, like, dodge things. It's like, that's kind of the closest you can get to, well, not necessarily the closest, but it's one of the things that go real close to being you know, a werewolf in that game, I guess. Except for feral druid, but you know. Druids were always Unga Bunga warriors who hugged the tree and fell in love with the dryad. I mean, yeah, sure. Sure, but I don't know. It's just my own bias. You know, I've always just imagined it in that way. Most likely incorrect, but like that's kind of where I've always come from, you know? So it just feels a bit weird to me. But I haven't heard other people talk about this, so it's probably just a me thing, and it's whatever. I need to get over it, but like I will not be silenced. I will have my my own faults, and they will be voiced. The incorrectness will be televised.
Your way, so there's like that bark skin thing that effectively allows you to take advantage of energy shield to generate armor. Like, so when you lose energy shield, you get armor instead, and like it like creates little bits of bark on your skin.
Cool.
As you there's like things like that that we've added, but yeah, it's a little bit of a thematically weird thing. I think probably the weirdest part about that is like, yeah, you're gonna have energy shield as a bear. It's a bit strange. Like, you know, getting hit as a bear and then there's a little energy shield pop, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It kind of has to be that way.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, I suppose, sure, you can just one, but
well, like,
yeah.
I feel like because there's like such a range of identities within that one class as well, that you've got the bear maybe that doesn't really align as much with that. There's definitely more armor stuff.
Yeah,
going
so you
on
could build more strength when you depending on what animal form you're playing, of course.
Yeah, whereas like the wyvern potentially has more of that kind of magical aspect to it, where it's like that's
I mean, and that's why the wyvern itself does get the benefits to energy shield, and the bear does get the benefits to armor in order to kind of make it so you are like, depending on what animal form you're going, there's a bit of alignment in the defenses there.
I mean, really, it's the tree that inspires and motivates this, right? Like, a sorceress could be on the bottom side of the tree and still have the same skill set, and, you know, obviously the damage nodes are a bit weird, but it could work. There's nothing saying, I mean, that's part of the beauty of the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had that experience where I was like, because it wasn't as clear, I was almost inventing my own lore there a little bit, where I was specking the regen from the druid, and then the Zealot's Oath right there. I'm like, oh, this actually, like, you're converting your natural kind of like life regen into energy shield. Like, this is kind of the druid's thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, that is a way for sure. Like, keystones certainly are pretty powerful, and we have a bunch of, I think there's an extra. I can't remember what it's doing. There's one that says "Do not translate" on it, so it's in progress. But yeah, we were playing around with some, trying to have some armor, energy shield, more hybrid stuff going on with the keystones there. It was based on what's it called? PoE one's is it Divine Shield? Is that the name of the keystone? I can't remember. Too many names. But you know, it's based on that, but not exactly the same. Like a derivative of that we're trying to get going. But yeah, it's just because I was like, we need more keystones that I feel more druidy, and I know there's a rage one there that is embracing the animal ferocity, where it like what does it do? It's like doubles your maximum rage, but makes you don't get inherent bonuses from rage. So it's like, if you really want to do the skills that are rage consumers, like rampage, and you just want to rampage for as much time as possible, you obviously go for that keystone. You lose the benefits of rage, but you get to rampage around for twice as long. Cool. You know, so a few things like that we're trying to add that are thematic as well. And I think that's another one of the really cool parts about adding a class is 1/6 of our tree was just filled with just placeholder garbage.
Yeah.
Like, actually, like, there's a giant link thing there. There's no links in the game, really. You know, it's like, what are we doing with that? You know, it's like, and so I was like, well, that looked like a vine. Just make that a plant thing. And, so now it's a plant thing that talks about overgrown plants. And, but we filled in that whole bit of the tree. And guess what? Now witches and sorceresses have more.
This is what I'm talking about. I love the way Mark talks about the game. He's like, why the hell did we do that? We changed that. It was there as a placeholder. Garbage. We got rid of it. It's now useful. Thank God.
Energy shield stuff on that kind of direction around towards the druid, and warrior has more, and you know, and I don't just mean energy shield, I mean everything, all the mechanics, right? All the int mechanics are kind of there, the strength mechanics, everything. So
it is nice we finally have a class in every different part of the tree.
Yes.
So like we don't have this like weird open stuff anymore.
Finally.
Yeah, that area of the tree was a little strange. I mean, it's such a massive tree already, and you're adding more to it, and then like I have to wonder, like, you added this oracle class. Like, I saw the shaman one, I was like, yes, this is exactly what
the
I was
hell?
Strange.
when he touched the zipper on his boots, it messed with the like connection for the microphone. I mean, it makes sense. He's touching metal, so I guess it makes sense. But still, that was funny.
It's such a massive tree
Like,
already.
as soon as he
and you're
touches
adding
it-
more to it, and then like I have to wonder, like, you add
Mike.
this Oracle class. Like,
And
I
then
saw
it's
the
gone.
Shaman one. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I expected. But then I saw the Oracle, and you guys had like 100. What is it? 130 extra
So far.
passives. That's fuck.
Mark,
Like,
no.
Why do you do this to yourself? Like that seems ridiculous.
It's fun.
Because it's cool.
Okay.
Because it's cool. There
That's
really
the
is
best
no other
reason you could ask for, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
What more could you want?
I really went through. I mean, I know we showed 2 examples, but I was like, really want to make sure there's like cool off-spec stuff here. I want to make sure that if you want to be able to get more of a certain thing, this is a way to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, it still costs passive points to allocate, right? So it's more about, you know, maybe you want some stuff that normally you'd have to go to the deck section for and get, you know, maybe some projectile-related stuff, and now you can get it up there because it allows for some kind of weird off-class. And it was all themed
That's
around,
sick.
you know, if you got to live your life again, what would you change?
I love that the entire chat was like, the dick section? Like, no, the decks. So that's an insanely good point, because as we were talking about, the different elements are like linked to the different stats. Like strength is fire and armor, int is lightning and energy shield, and dex is ice and evasion, right? So this means that node, or that passive for the ascendancy of Oracle, since that gives you like 130 new nodes to pick from in the tree, you're not getting 130 nodes. They appear and you can spec into them. Since that happens, they can add a bunch of nodes in there that give you bonuses that align with the dex side of the tree, which is a sick compromise in my opinion. I didn't even think about that. That's awesome. I love that they're thinking about it. And that's a great way. Like, if they actually make the nodes good, that's a great way to make the class even more viable. Like, with possibly dex stuff, you know, if the werewolf stuff aligns more with dexterity, like the vine stuff that they were talking about before, then that's a great way to make that connect and make it work. So that's a great choice.
What different paths would you take? And so it's this interesting, like,
It's an existential crisis as a node.
That fits period.
Initially, I always write my little blurbs about them to you know, get them in the live stream, and I was like, it's got all the passives not yet added to the game. I thought it was an interesting way of looking at it. Not that that's actually how it is, but I thought it was like a kind of, it's like lessons you learn, you get to now use in advance kind of. I thought it was just a cool thematic thing that linked to the class. And it's easy, by the way, as designers to see that kind of thing and go, we have a million things to do. Like, is that really, like, that's too much time, too much work, right?
Man.
And I'm just like,
sad, isn't it?
if we say that about everything, you get nothing cool.
Yeah.
And so it's that, and I mean, even the shamans, like runes revealing hidden powers, like we're setting ourselves up for a large amount of cumulative time over a while, right? Any rune we add, anything, like we have to add and consider the shaman stats, and that's another whole axis of things. We have to meta balance every league, and same with the Oracle passives, and every time we change the tree, and like when we eventually add the Templar, we're going to have to relocate all those nodes because that tree's going to get a giant. Now we've got 2.5 classes in one section, but it's worth it. It is actually worth it. You add so many builds, so many cool things, and if you don't want to deal with it, just pick another class. It's fine. You know, you don't have to, or pick other nodes on the same class. You know, you don't have to take that node. So
I think this like very clearly communicates that you're also okay with this idea of there being just like hidden cool stuff to discover that you're not going to know ahead of time, because you can't like look at the class options on the character selection screen and know what the passives are going to be that are hidden behind the Oracle ascendancy, right? So it's like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you just,
love
I mean, look, there's always going to be community tools, and they're going to come up with a way to make that, you know, to the build guides and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, like,
I love the secret stuff.
Yeah.
I actually got my secret Abyssal Lich.
Yeah, wild.
It was an actual final secret, and maybe there's more. Well,
You want to do more
know.
of that, don't you? I can tell. Look at you.
knows?
Look at him. He wants to do more.
Of course, I love it. I love people having cool secret things they can find, and it isn't just like 1000% pre-planned out of the gate. Like, I understand the need to plan. I understand the need to have confidence in a build, and you don't want to go in and only realize you've made the wrong decisions and stuff like that, for sure. But I definitely want to find that balance where you have that while you also get your cool secrets that you get to add to the game that are fun.
Yeah. I think there's like a couple more chat questions on Druid, but we'll try and move on to the other stuff soon because I know people want to talk about the other thing. I could talk about Druid all day. I think the design's super interesting here. But some of the questions were that I think people are a bit confused about like the talismans and the forms and how that stuff works. So the talismans are effectively just like another weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like attack speed, movement speed on gear and everything will affect you in your movement.
Absolutely.
Animal
Right.
forms. It's
Absolutely.
not like... I think because a lot of other games do it where when you change form, like all of a sudden, oh, your weapon's not affecting you, or this thing's not affecting
Right.
you.
Well, I mean, effectively, so we're doing the changing form by utilizing weapon swap. So you've got 2 weapon sets inherently, and the talisman effectively serves as your weapon. Like if you're playing a druid, you are going to have to learn how to use weapon specialization passives and stuff like that if you want to have the spellcaster and melee thing.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the passive tree nodes, like in the druid section of the tree, all have like attack and spell damage and that kind of stuff. So like certainly for most of the start of the class, you won't have to worry about it. But as you get deeper in, and if you want to do hybrid spell attack, you are going to have to think about like, okay, what are my attack
That makes
passives, what are
sense.
my spell passives, and do that.
I was actually surprised at how simple and straightforward it was to do. So like the weapon specialization tree thing, you still do need to think about and understand how that works. But the basics of it, like using the actual skills, just happens automatically. Like I didn't ever have to actually go in and
No. You don't have to worry about that part. Just because of the fact that because this has always been the rule, but it's really apparent here. Like if it'll swap to the weapon set that can use the ability, so therefore you don't have to actually tweak. You just put it in and it kind of works.
If I tried to use my spell, it would shift to human automatically and use the staff. So like that was all automated, and I didn't have to like program anything like that.
Right.
Like I have on some other builds, I guess, where it's a bit.
But
more
mostly that's just
unclear.
because you get into a situation with those where because it's usable on both. Now you have to start going in there and tweaking that stuff. But because it makes it much simpler when you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so there's a decent onboarding there, given the potential complexity of that. All right, so we'll move on now to the Fate of the Vile expansion, and there's definitely more of a like clear divide between the two things, and you even actually made 2 separate trailers this time around.
Well, it would have been super weird to have these like 2 completely clashing themes in the trailer. So normally, of course, we'd make one trailer with everything, but we're kind of like, man, it's really hard to unify these 2 things in a kind of reasonable way. So in the end, we decided to go with 2 trailers and just like.
So at the end of the day, we decided to make a druid with 4 titties. Huh?
Show the content completely separately.
They're not connected. Like they
No,
don't,
not
they
at
don't
all,
have to
right?
be, right?
Yeah,
Like,
They're
exactly.
not. Aside from both of them having a buttocks in it, they're not connected.
My man.
That was total accident, by the way. It was just like 2 totally unrelated.
Yes, sure. I was
Well
praising
done.
the equality of it. Like,
Right.
yeah, I was great. There's buttocks for everyone here in this trailer. Excellent. Thank you. So this expansion is,
Jesus.
and we saw this a little bit where you tried to work in the previous League mechanics into like story quest stuff, which I was super keen on. This expansion definitely feels much more deeply linked into the campaign and story, to the point where like Doriani's saying, go back in time and try and change these things that happened in the campaign. I was like, this feels like a major campaign story beat thing going on now.
There's a few things going on there. So, like initially, this league, unlike I think what we've done too much of in the past, the storyline develops quite a lot more, kind of like through the campaign with different events that happen and sort of link in a lot. And part of the reason originally for that is that one of the things we sort of don't like necessarily about what leagues do is like you've got this situation where you like walk out of town in like literally the first area, and it's like some eldritch entity is immediately recruiting your services. You know what I mean? Like it's actually very like
Put this
unfortunate.
rusty thing in your body.
Exactly right. So we kind of wanted to try and make sure that there's a little bit more like of a
Good
it
point.
doesn't feel like the world is on your shoulders like right from the get go. Like there's actually like a little bit a growth of epicness throughout the league. So like if we'd have had it so it's like you're time traveling into the past, like the moment you walk out the gate, it's like okay, it's just not quite right. So we decided what we'll do is we'll make so that there is the temple. We've got a kind of like almost a baby version of the mechanic where you've got a lesser number of rooms, like it's kind of a bit simpler, like to start out with. And then once you pass the sort of key point in the storyline, then it like really opens up. You go into the past, you've got a little more story stuff going on. It did add quite a lot more work to kind of have to make 2 versions of a bunch of things and that kind of stuff. But I think it is worth it because it means that it feels like the league has a lot more going on. it just doesn't kind of break you don't break immediately the feeling of the world, which has been a problem in the past.
I have very strong opinions on this one. It's like dark horror, gothic, secondary. 3 dimensions deep of I'm in the past or in some sort of demon realm now. I don't know what's going on here.
And it's fine as you go, but this is actually one of the challenges I think we're going to have just designing leagues generally, is that they're going to require a bit more work to make them feel right. I mean, even just something as simple as like the vile sacrifice circles that you get throughout the world. Normally what we would have done is like make one thing and call it a day. Here what we've done is we've got like 10 or more. It's a ton of variations of those, where for like each act we're like, in like for each area we're thinking like, okay, which like we need more of these so that we can use them so they feel natural in the place where they are, like do a bit of terror reskin and stuff like that. Like that's kind of the stuff that we now need to do to sort of make it feel like you're not breaking the world stuff.
The PoE1 style, betrayal basement. You just okay, so there's just a basement everywhere, like in the mud flats. Like, okay, that just doesn't fly anymore at all. So like we want to make sure that these things are way more believable.
Right.
Like you are actually convinced. You're like, this makes sense. I'm not just in a basement in the mud flat in a swamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Val is a very distinct thing, and it's very like tied to Act 3 as well. So I was a bit worried about like the tone of Act 1 with the Val stuff, but then like it fits in reasonably well. Like you've definitely taken good care to make sure that it doesn't.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of making it feel like there's some ancient ruin that then later someone came along, like some Ezomites went there and they built some stones around it because they're like, well, what is this thing? And like we just thought a little bit about like how would the culture here have reacted to the fact that there was this ancient ruin from long ago in this location and that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
As a lore guy, this is very helpful.
This is the bar for what you want to be doing. This is the quality level for what you want to do.
So I'd say that like it does sort of I would say here, like the level of polish and the stuff that we're doing, like the amount of content that a league needs to actually be good. Like, obviously, when we did 020, the league was a little bit like, it was just the Asmerian spirits, and like, I mean, it was a league, but it wasn't really. Didn't have like the depth of content and stuff that you needed. And then with 030, I think we did a lot better. Like it came a lot better, but I still don't think we quite got there in terms
that
of
was
like
the PoE1 level kind of.
And then this one here, I think like you get up to the level of quality that we really want to be delivering in PoE2, like post release and everything, and like the kind of the amount of content you need for a league. Like it needs to be quite sizable and good, and it did take a lot of effort, but I think it's worth it because you sort of shows you what we can do when we.
I was gonna say that's like a high bar that you've effectively kind of like locked in committing to for expansions.
Well, hopefully I don't come to regret it, but it's and honestly the scope did explode a little bit because when we I think that one of the things so when I initially designed the league, I was kind of like, okay, we're going to have like some limited number of rooms. We kind of spec'd it out, and like we like, and each one will have a few levels, and it kind of didn't seem like it was that large. But really, in the context of PoE2, it's like, well, if you're going to spend effort to upgrade a room, it needs to feel meaningfully different and have meaningfully better rewards and all that stuff. And it pretty soon expands into like a really huge list of like different combat encounter mechanics and different like crafting mechanics and different rewards and everything. Like, there are so many new rewards and things in just in the temple. It's crazy. There's a lot there. Like certainly the number of expanded crafting options and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I mean, we could take some inspiration from what PoE1 did with Incursion, in terms of double crops and stuff, but we had to make it work in a PoE2 context. There's just a lot there.
Yeah, I've followed your progress with designing this one from the very beginning.
Yeah, the funny thing is about that is that it actually came from a game that you recommended that I play.
I wasn't going to even say it.
So you recommended that I play this game called Loop Hero, and I really enjoyed it. Then everyone's going to think that the game we were inspired by is Blueprints, but it actually wasn't. It was Loop Hero.
It was so good because I told you about that game, and then it was like a week later or something, you sent me a message like, "Hey, I've made this little program."
Yeah. So I prototyped up like a thing that for what would become the UI for Incursion. We actually ended up. It's funny because this is like the first league I've actually personally done code on in like quite a long time.
You really got into it.
Yeah. Because it was a real fun, just like evening thing to like go and just like work on this design. One of the great things about doing that is that I got to make so many design changes just in the course of like of writing it, like which I don't think necessarily would have gone exactly the same way if I was getting other people to do it. So yeah, that was really fun. And just make and then effectively the back of it is like the code that I wrote, but obviously the UI of it is like a whole thing that a bunch of other people worked on and made really look really awesome. But
imagine having passion. Jesus. I mean, I think it's awesome that he's like, yo, I even got back into writing code for this. I was so inspired by this little game you showed me. I think that's awesome. I also love that he fully shouts them out. Was it Loop Hero? Loop Hero. I've never heard of that game before, but because they mentioned it, I'm going to look it up. See what it is. It's a pixel art game for $15 from 2021. Okay, I can definitely see the inspiration. Okay, yeah. It looks kind of similar to what we're getting. So yeah, that makes sense.
What is it like about this one that grabbed you so much? Because you got so involved and so personally, like working on it at home.
Yeah,
in the evening,
I just really enjoy this kind of like little game within a game, like little meta game things, and just that dungeon design thing is just a really fun thing for me.
Tile placing,
yeah,
good,
it's always it's really fun.
Love a good tile place.
You know, and I just like coming up with all little ways that they can interact and that kind of thing, and you know, try to make nature feel a bit different and that kind of stuff. It's just a good time.
Yeah, and it's got this like iterative design where you're building a temple, you run it like it's a really small one at the first, and then it crumbles a bit, but you're still kind of building on what you're doing each time. It's like a weird kind of like roguelike-y thing without being a roguelike itself.
Yeah,
exactly. So with that design then, I'm curious, like does it like fully reset at some point? Like for example, when you kill at Zeri or
it never fully resets, but when you kill at Zeri or defeat an architect, quite a lot of the temple gets destroyed. So there's this kind of destabilization thing. It goes back to not the start, but kind of I think it removes like 2/3 of the rooms. There's some number like that it gets rid of at that point, and then you kind of have to build up again. That's just that effectively means that like when you do those options, you're getting like new reward rooms and things to play. So it's giving you new goals, and then you have to work towards those goals again. And then ideally, those reward rooms can be rewarding enough that the benefit of going back to smaller is sorry, or I'd say the negative.
I think I'm at 222 right now. If someone wants to go keep watching, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I think we got a lot of good info from this. I think we learned a lot of things. Just in general, it looks very promising. It looks like a lot of fun, and as soon as this goes live, so will I. I'm gonna be live probably that whole weekend, just playing this. Going absolutely nutty on this. I even have time off work for this specifically. So, gonna be long streams and a lot of them throughout that entire weekend. Because Druid. And it's kind of that simple. Makes me wonder where the Scion will go if they made it for PoE 2. I think they already confirmed that Scion is not coming back for this game. They might change their minds down the line, but as it looks right now, that's the latest update we heard. Looks really good. We'll definitely watch you play it. I'm even considering getting it now. Well, this is the Druid you were looking for, dude. I'm very satisfied with what we've seen, and also we haven't seen all the moves. Like every class has over 20 skills each, and then you can take skills from other classes and mix and match however you want. So we can make an absolute demon out of this. I'm very happy with what we're getting. And who knows? I might not prefer the werewolf, but that's fine. I might prefer playing the wyvern, or the bear, or caster. But, you know, having it all in there is what matters to me. Just finally being able to play the druid. I don't know why it matters so much to me to be able to, like, I can finally play the class, you know? Oof, I can finally play the class. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, it doesn't matter which form I prefer to play it in. I just want the druid. Yeah. But yeah, what we've seen here today, I'm very excited about. There we go. What's the launch time, though? I will answer this question by starting the video game. a video game. So, for 21 hours would be 11, and then minus 3, so 8 p.m. for Europe on Friday next week. I think. I mean, release is December 12th PST. December 12th, 12 PST? I don't know. So 11 a.m. Pacific? Yes. I think that's correct. 11 a.m. specific time. I always said specific time when I was a kid. Stupid. Should we just quickly look at what I have here? Like, from previous seasons, I have like a bunch of characters I haven't started playing, but like my my monk, who hasn't looked like this for long, this is not necessarily what he's supposed to look like. Let me fix that. I've sold something.
Have an order?
Aha. Bank. You always delete your characters? I get way too attached. I can't. I cannot. So let's get rid of all my cosmetics. So they finally added so we could, what's it called? Use consumables. Yeah, these things. And skin transfer to basically transmog the gear with other looks, which was nice because I don't necessarily love all the gear I am required to wear to get the right stats. But a good thing about the game now is that the base armors that you get, and I keep one of every type so that I can see like the way it evolves throughout the leveling, you know. I've done this for all the armors currently in the game. And the armor design in this is actually sick. The armor design in the first game is horrible, in my opinion. At least the gear you find on the ground. The cosmetics look good in the first one, but like the actual in-game gear doesn't look good in the first one, in my opinion. In this, they look great. And I hope they fill in the gaps here, because there are no items associated in these slots. So, you know, devs, please add that. That'd be great. But yeah, they added the skin transfer thing, so I finally made my monk look like a mercenary. And I think, like, this is in-game gear. I think it looks kind of cool. So that's my old monk. This is my new monk, only Cranes, that I was using, because this season they added a thing where you could be basically a monk doing fist fighting. So you got a bunch of damage boosts if you did unarmed combat. And he's kind of a demon. Now this is a like store gear. That's like microtransaction stuff that he's wearing. Just characters I haven't played. And then Chrane here is my mercenary. And again, in-game gear. I think it looks great. I went into a javelin build on this guy. So he's throwing lightning javelins. And he has some stuff on the crossbow that he can use. It's just a lot of fun. Wrath. I don't know really what I did with this. It's like a shout barb, kind of. He's using spells. I haven't played him in a long time, so I don't really know where he ended up at the end, but he was fine. Nothing really special there. We have the Theodra. This is my Sork, or Stormweaver at this point, I guess. Lightning damage. Very strong, very fun, very frail. Sork takes a lot of damage. That makes sense. It's a glass cannon, so, you know. It makes a lot of sense. And, yeah, my Infernalist. Again, I don't love playing the Witch. I love her voice acting. I don't really like her playstyle though, so this one didn't really do that much for me personally. Ranger, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I think they updated like some stuff with, I feel like they updated her hair or something, like something about her looks different, but just in general, a very cool character. Very fun, super strong. And then, of course, he's wearing Druid stuff for some reason, but the green gemling, foe of Spider-Man, was the one that I played that basically became a better monk than my actual monk during early access 1.0. So he was stat stacking, and that increased his damage output, his attack speed, his crit chance, everything. And he was just a goddamn demon. And then 0.2, I played a Huntress till level 30, I think, and then I dropped it because I did not have fun, and I deleted that character. And then I started 0.3, and that's what we're doing now. I got this monk that I showed you to 89. He's the one doing unarmed combat. He's a lot of fun. He does a ton of damage. And I once again tried to make a Huntress to get to max level and do maps. But once again, I kind of lost interest in playing the Huntress because I don't find her that fun. And I don't know what this was intended to be, but I haven't played him after getting to the town, so I don't know. I don't know what his purpose was. I haven't looked into that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the game right now. Just level-wise, the highest are like 93, 80, 85, 80... 81, 80, 87. I'll be no life degen mode for about 3 days. Do the same. If it's 8 p.m. CET, then it's 11 PST. Yeah, because I know they're 9 hours behind us. Exactly. And it's 2 p.m. EST. Yeah. Because they're 6 hours behind us. Yep. I've only just started not deleting my character mid-league when leveling an alt. Damn. I get way too attached to my shit, dude. I cannot start deleting stuff that wouldn't fly for me. I could never. So let me actually equip this guy with what he's supposed to be wearing. What boot? Oh, he is wearing these boots. My goodness. Okay. And he's wearing this. Okay. Yeah, so he's like a 1.0 character, so he's not gonna have a bunch of damage on him. There he is. The cool thing, though, now that we're getting the Druid, is that the character select screen is finally going to make sense. Because now over here we have the Ranger. And you swap to Huntress. And you can tell that they share the same character model. Just different hairstyles and face paint and clothing. Like the base model and the face is the same. And that's also the case for the Sorceress and the Witch. They too share a face, body type. The only difference is tattoos and hair and stuff like that. But that means that these two are going to be in the same line, and the Druid is going to take one of these two spaces. So that then we finally will have the full lineup of all the stat combinations, which is sick. 7 p.m. for the UK. Yep. That is correct. So that's Friday next week. I don't know if I... Do I get off work like slightly later than that? Hold on. Friday. Okay, yeah. I think I'll be home in time. But yeah, when the patch comes out, the character select will finally be finished. And, you know, the lineup will be for all the character models. So that's going to be sick. The druid will be between strength and int. Are they lined up in that order? I never thought about that. Dex, strength, int. I mean, he's probably going to be here. In that case. So since these are the base ones and these two are hybrids, I'm going to assume he's going to go here. So she's going to be moved underneath the Sork. Is my assumption. We still don't know which one's going to be the... Like, are the old ones going to be the top every time? We don't know for sure until they pick. But these two are hybrids, so this is most likely going to be the position for the druid, along with the other two hybrids. The question is, will the Sork be moved down, or will the Witch be moved down? No clue. We'll find out next week. Yeah, I'm probably gonna save the Huntress leveling for next season again. This class is never getting leveled, dude. She's just not fun. She's probably a lot of fun when you get to Lightning Javelin later on, but like in this stage, she's I'll probably make 2 druids. Probably me too. I'm probably gonna go for both Shaman and Oracle to see the main differences between them. It will be very happy. Very happy indeed. Just to finally be able to play my druid boy. After such a long wait, it will finally be real. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And after that, I mean, it's basically Gladiator and Act 5 and 6 that's staring down the barrel, you know? Those are like the 2 big things afterwards. I just don't enjoy the campaign reruns so long. Fair. Fair. Personally, the campaign is my favorite part of this game, so I don't mind. But I think it's absolutely fair critique. I also can't wait to replay Act 4, because I really liked Act 4. And I've only played it once. So I'm very excited for that. Also, I'm very excited to hear all the druid voice acting. Yeah. No, I think it's fair criticism. Yeah. But dude, druid voice acting, I'm so excited for that. I did it 12 times in early access. Yeah. So I've done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why is my gemling not showing up? Okay. Gemling disappeared. I think the worst part was before Act 4, as far as the campaign goes, because, you know, before we got Act 4, you replayed Act 1, 2, and 3. That was just not a good solution, in my opinion. Like, I realized they had to do something, but, like, just scale maps to lower level then, in that case. Having us replay Acts 1, 2, and 3 is diabolical. Yeah, Act 3 is the worst, I agree. But that's ARPG tradition. Act 3 has to be the worst. Every time. As it was, so shall it be, forever. It's just them's the rules. It's just the way it is. Where did that go? Hold on. Sorry, I'm distracted by a thing here. Okay. Okay. Act 2 is fine. 1 is super. I love Act 1. Act 1 is sick. Yes, it's fast, but also I really love the vibe and just almost everything about it. I think Act 1 is sick. Act 2 is pretty good. When you've done Act 2 a few times, you're like, oh, I see exactly what you're supposed to do and like how to quickly get through it, so it's fine. But I also just really dislike 3. I think Act 3 suffers the same problem that was it cruel difficulty? Is that what they called it when you replayed Acts 1, 2, and 3? I think Act 3 suffers from that same problem because the part where you like spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen the story, where you go back through the portal and you have to go through the same area again, but the environment is like in a different state. I think that's not a great feeling because you're like, I was just here. I just ran through this area and the area after it. So it's like, I have to do it again? It was a very big area the first time, so I don't know if I love this. So that's kind of unfortunate, I think. And it makes it worse. But yeah. Act 1 I love. And Act 4 I think is even better. Nah, I hated replaying through the story. I think it burned me out way more on the campaign than like it would if I played it through it now on a bunch of characters. Because getting one character to maps meant playing through all the story stuff twice. I'm like, I will get sick of these areas. I will get sick of these bosses, these sound cues, these attacks. I'm shocked I made it through 8 times. That's 16 of the same boss fights. Or rather, that's fighting every boss 16 times. I also think Act 4 just feels more free in a way. Like, yes, partially because of the way it's laid out, but just the fact that you're I don't know, kind of sailing around, you're seeing very new and different places, you're having fun, you know. It feels kind of needed after a very almost claustrophobic Act 3. Even though there's a lot of large areas in Act 3, it still feels very confined in a weird way, in my opinion. So the way the Act 4 kind of opens up and lets you breathe, I think is very important. And kind of hits at the exact right time in the story for it as well. But yeah. I'm going to wrap here for the night, everybody. have video editing to do. Ironic, considering 2 is the most claustrophobic. With all the tombs and stuff, you mean, right? Yeah. I just feel more... I don't know. I just feel more constricted in Act 3, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway. I'm gonna wrap here, everybody. We're gonna be streaming this weekend. For sure. I'm gonna schedule a stream for you. So that you can get some notifications for when that goes live. And yeah, next week is the PoE patch, and that's gonna be a long weekend full of streaming. So, you know, be here for that. And this weekend, we will be most likely at least finishing the Digimon Nuzlocke. I say hopefully because we might wipe. That's always a possibility, but I'm gonna hold out hope that we actually beat it and win. So yeah, now I'm gonna go video editing, and before I do that, I'm going to build a Balrog. I'm slowly getting there, so you know, gonna build the Balrog and then the case it's gonna go in. And I will update you on the quality of that case when I'm back this weekend to play some Digimon. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah, the unique one did kind of look like a Balrog, you're right.